This is God Emperor Trump. I challenge Obama to pistols at dawn. If the loser doesn't die from his wounds, he will then have to get his ass fucked by the winner. What say you, Obama? Get your bitch ass off the couch and face me.
I accept your dumbass challenge. I've been shooting niggas before you even molested your first underage girl on Epstein's Island. Prepare yourself to take all 10 inches of this BBC.
Hey, look, it's a little dead meme.
I'm Matt Walsh. What is a pussy? I couldn't tell you.
Hello.
I couldn't tell you.
Hello.
When it's done by force. When it's done by force. Don't you dare speak to me like that, Dream. When it's done by force.
Hello, welcome to the Snark Tank. Hello.
Oh man, are you?
Does that? So now here's the thing: is that going to trick the algorithm into thinking that this is a kid's? This is safe.
Yeah.
You know, this is safe programming. We don't have to demonetize this episode because it starts with a goofy fucking lots and lots of jets and planes ass fucking introduction, and the rest of it's probably fine.
I thought that's what you were doing. Yeah, hopefully we'll also get like what $10 per mil for CPM now or something.
That's fucking pathetic. It's so sad.
That'd be amazing.
Oh man, hey everybody, welcome to the Snark Tank podcast. It is us again. We're a little bit behind schedule. A lot of things happened. Derek got his wisdom teeth taken out.
Pulled out
was
by
out
that.
of commission for a little bit, and then
What is it?
What happened?
What was it? Oh, I should know this because it happened to me. I got kidnapped by a what was it? Ice cream truck or something? And then he was he was like, "Hi, I'm Dr. Yosef Mengele's son. I'm going to perform oral surgery on you without anesthesia." And I was like, "All right, wait, as long as it's free." And then he gave me ice cream afterwards, so couldn't complain.
He repeated to take his dick out and bust your fucking wisdom teeth out your mouth with his club-like cock. He broke
That's German and Argentinian engineering. It's a wonder. It's a wonder.
Slamming his cock into your face, knocking your wisdom teeth out.
That's why I was
bludgeoning.
That's why I was gone, and then Chris had a lot of shit going on too.
Yeah, there's some medical stuff. I flew out to New York. Obviously, I'm in New York right now. If you're watching the video, you can tell. We did our 300 Sacred Symbols 300 live show in New York City, and that was fucking crazy.
Wow.
But I got sick, of course, from that, on top of already being sick. That's what happens when you meet, like, 200 people and you shake hands, and you inevitably, like, no matter how much you try not to,
you'll get
no matter how much you're like, okay, I'm going to hand sanitize, I'm going to wash, I'm not going to touch my face, inevitably something will happen, and you will simply get sick. Dude, it was crazy too because it was so cold in New York, but it was also dry. It was like the strangest combination of climates that it's never been that cold and dry in New York from my experience. So like by the time I finished the show, my lips were chapped to shit, and I could not talk without bleeding. It was so bad. And like by the time it got to the Wednesday we were supposed to record, I was like, guys, I literally can't speak because I will bleed to death. But also there's some other medical stuff, but we're back on schedule now.
Kind of, I guess.
Sorry for the little delay. But one announcement that I do want to let everybody know about, especially if you're on the patreon.com/snarktank, is that there's merch in the works, and it's very, very close. We're gonna get some samples to make sure everything's set and everything is a-okay, but like I would bet, like by this point, all we have to do is plug it in. Everything should be in the system by April 1st, and by the end of April, I think you people on the Patreon should get your first window into the merch shop, and I would imagine that it won't take that long.
You people.
You fucking savages. But yeah, so that's in the works. So very excited about that. We got some really cool designs, I think.
Yeah,
coming from Beanie. Is it okay if we say?
Yeah, I think we've shouted her out before.
Yeah, Beanie Linguini, artist.
Yeah. She fucking
Friend of the
rocks,
show.
man. I don't know if you've ever seen some of the stuff we posted a long time ago. I've been thinking about recycling. I mean, this is what a good promoter should do is kind of, you know, kind of keep posting stuff, bringing things up ancient because you have new people coming in. We're so bad at all that shit. But there are some amazing pieces of art. And she did some crazy pieces for us. And then she actually even, I commissioned her to do the N-Word Club. I think that, remember that podcast that lasted for like 7-8 episodes? and then people are like, what happened? I'm like, life happened, man. Shut up. We've thought about, now here's the interesting thing, real quick. We've talked about bringing it back, but I don't, it doesn't make sense. My time doesn't make sense to me. I feel like I have time to do other stuff, and then I kind of end up my day being full. It doesn't make sense to me, but I want to try it again later. I want to try it again later.
I'm about to go back to school, which is awesome.
That's disgusting.
Awesome.
You're crazy. But
I'm just going to finish up my 4-year, man. Just get in, have it.
How much time do you have left on that?
A year. 1 year and then clinicals.
All right, yeah. Bang it out then. You know?
1 year and then clinicals, man. And then I
think you should just blow your hands off.
But listen.
And then
listen, we're a little bit behind. We got a lot to catch up on.
Wow.
We got a lot to catch up on.
So instead
Lots
of providing a service for the world, I just get disability. Thanks, Derek. You're right. You're right.
I don't know,
You're
man.
right,
That seems like a good trade-off.
You sound like what they make every black person sound like. Like conservatives, like they refuse to get jobs. They're just gonna live off Social Security. And it's like,
but you have a legitimate reason if your hands are blown off. If your hands are blown off, you can't
not blow my hand. I don't have to. I like my hands. They're cool.
You neglect your fucking toes and stuff, so now it'll be a good opportunity to really get intimate, just to really get to know how to use your toes. You see people driving with their toes and shit and like using keyboards and stuff. You can get there.
I don't want that.
You're a pussy. But all right.
Yep.
You ready? We got a lot of stuff to catch up on.
No, we don't.
Derek wanted to start off with something though, before we got into some of the stuff that we wanted to talk about. So what was the thing you wanted to start off with?
Oh yeah, I'm officially gay. Finally,
cool.
I stopped. Everybody was like, "Oh, he's doing now that gay shit. He must be gay." And I'm like, "That's dumb. I have a wife." But no, I'm actually. My wife is she's trans, and that makes me gay somehow. And so I just wanted to come out with that. Oh, and then one other announcement. A handful of people were mentioning the cold opens, because I did a couple of AI cold opens. One was Joe Rogan, and I think the other one was Jordan Peterson. And so I've been using this one app called Parrot AI, and just experimenting with it. It's not bad. I like where it's at, because I don't want it to be perfect. I don't want it to be seamless, because if it's seamless, it's not as funny. When it's like a little bit off, that's what the jankiness really makes it funny to me. Oddly enough, the CEO of that app, or at least somebody, he says the CEO, I'm still trying to look up his credentials, but he was like, hey, I want to like talk about some business opportunities, just coincidentally, because I have no watermarks on that shit or anything when I used it. But he was just like, hey, man, like, the parodies and stuff you do are hilarious. Some business opportunities. Like, he wants to have a conference, and I'm like, what a huge coincidence. I started using this app, and he was asking, have I heard of this app? And I'm like, what the fuck? I just started using it. And I told him, and this was so awesome, because I was trying to find the customer service for that app, because I only wanted to use the Ben Shapiro thing, and it's not working. The videos just won't render. So I was pissed off. And I told him immediately, like, hey, dude, I would think your app is cool if the Ben Shapiro one worked. And he's like, oh, my bad. I'm going to get my team on it. And I'm like, this is insane. So if he fixes it, the next cold open this is the difference. If it worked and he fixed it, the cold open of this episode is some wild Ben Shapiro shit, because it works well. Like the voices are pretty decent. And all I wanted to do was fuck with the Ben Shapiro one, because he has the best voice. He has the best voice for parody.
Because he just sounds like a bitch.
He sounds like, I told this to somebody the other day. I said, why do people, like a lot of people on the right, they champion masculinity, and then they prop up Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro, where they sound like the biggest dorks on earth. Like, they sound like there is no bigger dork. Like, you can't sound any dorkier than those two people.
Jordan Peterson raising his voice at people is the funniest thing.
I like it. I love when
it
he gets
is
mad.
really
Because
unfortunate.
it's like, who are you talking? I will beat the shit. I will beat you. I will feed you a vegetable and kill you. Like, you are an obsolete person.
I forgot.
When he was arguing with Destiny, it was like, because of force. They forced us to get the vaccines. I don't believe in any third party people. And it's like, you're such.
Yeah,
I actually missed that.
I feel like Canadians genuinely have the dumbest takes on politics always. I feel like by their nature, they are just really dumb politically.
Look, to be fair,
I think they haven't had enough strife. I feel like they just don't have enough strife to understand how politics work the right way. But they're so
you are a little bit right about that, actually.
They're so wildly vocal about shit they're wrong about. And it's like, dude, you
You're
guys
right.
took Native
You're right.
Americans away in the 90s still. You guys don't talk about that. No one brings
in the
that
90s?
up. In the 90s, they were rounding up Native Americans and
That's crazy.
re-educating
Canadians
them.
The Canadians were re-educating Native Americans while fucking X-Men, the animated
X-Men,
series,
the animated
was
series
on.
was very on.
I've been watching
That's
that in
wild.
preparation of X-Men 97. I haven't gotten to 97 yet. 'cause
97's really good, man.
I mean, I've been seeing. So the fucked
Derek,
up thing. Too many spoilers. What's up, Chris?
You've because I've been watching your journey watching that show, and you've posted on your Instagram story all of these I wouldn't call them art mistakes necessarily, but just like hilarious freeze frames of like,
dude, the way X-Men looks sometimes is crazy. Because I was watching it with Lily too, and there's a moment where Beast looks insane. He looks There's a moment where he looks like he just smoked way too much fentanyl, and he's just.
There's an image.
Tired.
There's an image that Derek specifically focused on, Professor X, with like, it looks like he has 40 extra bones in his face. I know. Look at this shit, dude. That is so crazy.
Lily's
That is
watching
not
it.
a person.
Lily's never seen the show, so she's watching it for the first time now that way. And she's like, what the fuck was going on in the 90s? And I was like, Lily, freedom. That was artistic freedom. People could write or do whatever they wanted at that period of time.
Dude,
I feel like there was a sweet spot with like where things ended. Like 95 to 2005, I think was like probably like where a lot of things probably should have halted.
To stop.
just stop.
Yeah, like I just feel like it got like even now, dude. Like Google image search is fucking useless.
100%.
Like it's all AI now. Like you like if you try to find like a photo of a real deer, you will not know when you've found it.
What does that
Like,
mean?
because everything, like, just for a reference. Like, let's say, like, you're an artist and you're like, oh, okay, I want to make, like, I'm fleshing out, I don't know, I'm working on, like, Avatar and I'm trying to flesh out new animals and I'm trying to look for reference images of, like, I don't know, like, real animals to get inspiration. You look for a deer. And, like, every Google image search that you find of a deer, even on page 1, is, like, you look at it and you're like, is that AI?
Wait, what? Is it that big of a problem? What? Really?
Yeah.
I'm just not getting good optimized searches at all for things that.
No, it's over.
And
dude, the days of optimized search, the days of Google existing to help you get to the answers that you need to find are over. Like they've been over for a while.
Yeah.
To be fair, but like it's all just like, oh well, what's advertised? You know, who's paying for the top spots on this Google search? And if nothing applies, then it's crazy.
And also,
like it's really truly fucking wild.
A lot of times when I'm searching for an answer for something, it'll give me a line in an article that thinks, I think this is what you're looking for. Like, say for example, I wanted to look at
me a few times.
This happens to me most of the time, and it won't. And it's not it's not what I'm looking for specifically, and I'll have to really dig sometimes in the other pages to see if I look here. I actually wanted to look up something about. Like, a lot of times I love like watching people that debunk like holistic medicines and all this stuff like that. and I was just trying to find something. Oh, I'm surely somebody must have talked about like, was it folic acid or something? There's these things that people use. They claim that, oh, it's this decomposing stuff and these minerals fucking can cure so much shit. And I'm like, I want to see somebody who's debunked this stuff. For pages, it's just promotion of the stuff. Even if you put the word debunk or expose or anything, I can't find anything. And I'm like, this can't be right. I know there must be people pushing back against this stuff. It's just not working. It's like, it's fucking garbage.
I usually I don't Google things like that enough, because like I Google things like people's ages and stuff like that. I don't really Google shit because because what else am I gonna Google really? You know, like I don't feel like I'm like.
Well, you notice it when you edit and you're looking for like material and you're looking for like research and you're looking for just like assets. It's just like it's a fucking, it's so bad. It's so fucking useless. But that's beside the point. Where we have a lot to, man, I feel like there's so much to touch on. But before we get into like the big thing, which I think is like the thing that everybody kind of expects us to talk about, I do want to bring up, I want to pull Kingston into this Miles conversation because there's a new Miles, there's a new development in the Miles Powers arc.
All right.
You want to explain?
So, I have not read the comic yet. I don't know where the comic came from, but there is an image of our friendly black Puerto Rican electric-powered Spider-Man using what seems to be a mode that resembles a lot like Super Saiyan, where he is sending huge blasts of electricity out of his hands. Now,
rock the dragon.
I know what you're gonna say. Stupid, right? I agree. It's pretty ridiculous, but at the same time, I'm like, you know,
You're a baby with like the keys jingling in front of you.
Well, no, I don't like it. I just said I agree it's stupid, right? Like I agree it's dumb,
right.
But at the same time, I'm just like, this is what characters do, you know? It's like dumb stuff. Like, granted, I see it like Superman, right? Superman, at first, he could jump real high. He was strong. He was bulletproof. Then eventually he could fly.
And then he could fly, and then he had laser eyes, and then he had
super
the breath.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's stuff like that. At the very
least,
granted, it's Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Man. Thing, right?
That's my thing, is that like Superman, look, that stuff is stupid about Superman too, but at least it doesn't necessarily conflict with like super. Like that all kind of like he has a cheat code kind of built into his name where you could really give Superman any kind of power and it would fit because it's just kind of like the nature of like what his name is. It's like, oh, it's Superman. Like he just does everything.
He's an Uber person. He's an Uber
But
guy.
like when you have like Spider-Man or Batman, and then you start delving into like imagine if Batman had like telekinesis and could breathe in space, it would start to feel like a little bit ridiculous.
But he's done all that, you know. He's gone into space and not died, and everybody's like, "You shouldn't be alive. That's a vacuum of space, Batman." He's like, "Don't worry."
He doesn't have like a helmet or anything?
Money. And he gets back in the ship, and you're like, "All right, Batman. Flash couldn't do that. Superman couldn't do that.
I need a citation for that, bro. I need a citation for that one.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Batman has been in the vacuum of space over the period of time where a person should not have been able to do it, and got back in the ship, and everybody was like, "You shouldn't have been able to do that." And he was like, "Yeah."
Oh, well,
does he have a helmet
fine.
though? Like,
No,
is he breathing in space?
It was just what happens is over the 2000s, right? Batman got written into being the stupidest character ever in comics. Like, think of it like this: we live in a world where people think Batman will be Superman. That is all I gotta say.
I guess.
That is it.
I mean,
that's
I don't,
all it's gotta be. More people will agree Batman will be Superman in this fucked up planet we live on, and it's like,
yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
To me, like a lot of people sent this to me thinking I would be mad about it, but it's like it's no more like. I'm not angry that he keeps accruing powers. I'm not even really angry. The thing that bothers me really is that they jumped the shark in the first place. Anything after this, it's just the same thing again. Like it's not like it doesn't like accumulate. It was already ridiculous enough for him to make the sword. Like I think the sword is personally more ridiculous than this Super Saiyan thing. Like by a wide margin.
I think it's unnecessary because like I could say down the line I could see him getting these powers like as an adult, as like a grown man, Miles Morales, you know, like because he has electrical powers, you know. Obviously, I'd assume he's going to eventually be able to use electric powers in a more interesting or powerful way, you know? He's going to be able to eventually be able to augment himself with electricity. Like, a lot of characters have, like, energy powers. They do that.
Yeah,
Green Lantern does shit like that. Havoc, Robert DaCosta. Like, you could... so many characters use their energy and they're like... oh, I'm gonna dump all my energy into my body and I'm gonna be able to move faster or some shit like that.
Yeah,
you know?
look. Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is that look, is it dumb? Yes, but like we are already kind of like Miles he's in the territory now. He's in dumb territory. He's in Batman territory where it's like okay. This is just this character now. It's like I guess he's just gonna breathe in space, and I guess he's gonna become Super Saiyan. I guess he's gonna conjure electric swords. I guess he's gonna sprout wings at some point because why wouldn't he? That's not really out of the question.
He's gonna be like I don't know.
There's
like,
whatever. It's fine. It's all fine from here on out because he's already jumped that shark. So like I don't care if anything else is happening. I just thought that sword was just so out of pocket. Where like because that's more than just shooting electricity. That is electrokinesis. That is being able to telepathically structure.
He damn near has it already. Like and not exactly.
All right, never mind. We won't rehash this. But think
of it like this, right? Like look, let me say it like this. You guys remember that episode of Static Shock when he went to the future, right? And he met himself when he was part of Justice League. And he was like way stronger by the time he was a grown ass man where he had his dreadlocks and shit like that.
I mean, he's always had dreadlocks, but, you know.
Well, yeah, he had his gray dreadlocks. Sorry, he had his gray dreadlocks. He was a much older man. He was an older, a grown-ass man. I think if that happened and we saw that Miles and shit like that, I'd be like, oh, shit, what did you go through to be able to learn this? He's like, oh, after years of using my powers, I learned how to use my powers better. That's what happened. That's how that would work. Obviously, if you have a power to manipulate energy, by the time you get older, you're going to be much better at using that power.
I mean,
I guess, yeah, whatever.
I don't know, because it's not like it's not necessarily like, say, Cyclops, for example.
Cyclops got much better as he got older. Actually, 100%.
He got better at what?
Yeah, but he couldn't build like a 4-story condominium out of his laser beams.
Energy. He could use it to help him move himself around. He could dictate how much energy he could use before, because before he used to be able to shoot like straight beams. Now he can make him arc and stuff.
That still kind of falls under the purview of what those powers are.
I understand what you mean.
He's not conjuring fucking birds out of, like he's not, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not like fucking, he has a fucking optic bird blast or some shit, you know? Like he's not.
Think of it like this,
optic
right?
Sword.
Somebody
optic
like
sword
Green
slash.
Lantern.
Optic.
I think it's like Green Lantern, right?
Optic slash.
Green Lanterns later on, they're way better than what they were in the beginning.
Well, that just makes sense.
Green Lanterns start kind of
conjuring shit with their mind. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, but then it's still them using energy, or like the idea of like
no, but
I don't know. But Superman,
the Green Lanterns
being able to like shoot lasers.
No. I won't. No. Hold on. I won't let this because the Green Lantern's base power is conjuration. That's like level 1. Like that's like the base thing he does. They
can control hard light. That's all they do. That's basically about it. They can control hard light.
He conjures.
So they can shoot blasts. They can make things. They can make shields. They can energize themselves.
But Spider-Man doesn't conjure. That's the thing. There's nothing Spider about conjuring. No, like that's the thing that kind of bugs me about Miles. It's like if they were going to make him an electric sword wielding fucking Super Saiyan, why even have him be a Spider-Man in the first place? It's just so silly.
He was a Spider-Man first, man. I guess I don't know.
To me, this seems like something that Taskmaster would be able to do. Like, he would steal, he would, like, get the power and be like, look what I can do with this shit. Because he's so, like, I can manipulate things. Like, it just seems like something that would be reserved for somebody else and not him. But here's the thing. It's clear that he's being marketed towards, I would say, anime niggas. I feel like that's basically what's happening.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, so it's just like...
100%. He's a new hero. That's all that shit is. It's like, this is a new hero. Instead of giving his powers that he had, because I think his basic powers of him being able to go invisible and like have electric touch was already cool enough. I was like, all right, that's enough. That's more than enough for Spider-Man right now. But then he got like the ability to like do bursts of electricity, and I was just like, all right, that's cool, I guess. They saw Superman do it in New 52. They were like, let's make Spider-Man do it, and I was like, all right. That's
The
cool.
difference is, I guess,
And then
for
it
me,
turned into swords, and I was like, okay, he has a sword for some reason. Spider-Man
See,
doesn't really need a sword, but cool.
the difference for me is that, like, I thought it was kind of ridiculous immediately when he went invisible and started shooting electricity, because I was like, all right, well,
I thought that was cool shit.
there's nothing spider about that, but like, okay, like, fine.
Spiders can camouflage, not a lot. Not a lot. That's not a fucking
They
common
can't
spider
go fucking
thing.
invisible, Kingston. They can't,
Not,
like,
spiders don't have. Spiders don't. I don't know. Spiders don't leap as high as Spider-Man does, or spiders don't have a perfect equilibrium like Spider-Man
well, I mean,
does.
relative.
You know?
Well, I don't know. Relative to their size, like, there are jumping spiders that fucking jump really fucking high. Actually,
Like it's like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's
like stupid high,
Spider-Man's
actually.
spider sense is also an ass pull of an ability for the most part. Damn near
I
precognition.
actually think. No, yeah, I agree with that.
But it's like,
like
whatever. It's like
I agree with that too, but like that's at least I don't know. It doesn't manifest really in an outward way that is obviously silly. Like it doesn't. It's not
I
like
agree.
it's not. You know what I mean? It's
it
not
doesn't
like
outwardly do it. It definitely does it. When you
it's
think of
not
the
like-
fact that like this motherfucker
No, it is
dodges
ridiculous. No,
bullets
Kingston.
and shit, you're like, this is
Yeah.
stupid. This is why is
No,
he
it's-
dodging machine guns?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's not like I don't know. It would be like if you were watching like Sherlock Holmes, and then suddenly like he just turns around and does super ghost kamikaze attack or something instead of being just like incredibly inquisitive. You know what I mean? It's like Sherlock Holmes is unrealistically inquisitive. It makes no fucking sense. Like the shit that he puts together is so absurd. Like you would have no reason to assume any of this is how this works, and that it always is, and you're right every single time. It's absurd. But he's not breathing a sentient ghost into existence to fly
You know what
across
happened?
to fucking
This-
Moriarty and blow him up.
This is what happens,
and that's
right?
kind of
This is what
I
happens,
don't
right?
know.
What
That's
happened to
little.
Sherlock Holmes was made in the 2000s, right? He would be
No.
really inquisitive. He'd be really inquisitive, right? And then what he
Yeah.
would do is, in the middle of that, he would be able to do shadow clones and then like Rasenguns and shit like that. And he'd be like, "Oh, this is modern Sherlock Holmes. He's clearly just a Naruto character, I guess." I guess.
Sherlock
Yeah.
Because that's just what
Yeah, I
happened.
don't
Is
know.
they made a new character. They were like, "How do we make him different from Spider-Man? Let's give
look.
him these cool powers." It's like, all right, cool.
We won't. I'm not going to belabor the point. He's in stupid character territory to me. I think almost objectively at this point, and that's fine. Like it's fine. It's whatever. Like it's what the market dictates. It's what people want. That's fine. I promise you, there's going to be a point in time where he sprouts wings, or he just straight up flies,
Yeah,
or he has
definitely.
telekinesis.
Definitely not.
Or
He fucking has a supermode.
why
He's gonna
definitely
fly.
not? Why definitely not?
Or he's gonna teleport a lightning. He's gonna turn into lightning streaks and run around.
Oh,
real
for
quick.
sure. Yeah, he's going to turn
that.
into pure electricity, and he's going to become Mjolnir or some ridiculous shit. It's whatever. Fine,
He's gonna-
let it happen.
Dude, lightning
It's
wings-
not my
he,
concern.
He had one really cool power that I really liked, right? Because he was like, oh, he can use his spider sense and tandem with electrical powers to be able to sense like neural activation of people's brains. They're like, that's really cool. That's a cool ability. That makes
okay.
sense. That combines both your electric and your spider powers. That's
All right.
pretty sick.
Yeah,
And then I was just like,
well,
look
and then
man,
he was
you
like,
have a
I'm gonna go
spider-
Super Saiyan. I'm like,
okay,
come
can,
on,
let me,
y'all.
can I ask you guys a question, both of you? If you had, do you think your spider sense would go off if you were on the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, Maryland?
That shit would start. How much ahead do you think it would go off? That's a better question. Like how much a time ahead of it before you think it would go off?
It would go off 5 seconds after you're underwater.
Because you get it when danger's inbound, right? You don't get it right before. You get it when danger's inbound, right?
But like that's such massive amount. Like how do you quantify that? Because there's danger happening. Like say a car getting. It just doesn't make sense. Like obviously,
it's a really dumb power. It's a really
it's awful.
dumb and super overpowered ability.
Of course it
but
is.
that's the only reason why Spider-Man hasn't died in the world he's in.
Oh yeah, I
The
mean,
motherfuckers like
yeah.
Carnage and Venom and Thor and Hulk running around. Like Spider-Man would have been killed by mistake by now.
And it's just like, oh, I somehow can sense it, whatever. But if a boat was about to slam into the bridge,
And you're on the
would
bridge,
it
right?
activate? It feels like because
100%.
it only seems to activate mostly when it's towards him. Mostly, like Now I know that's not true. Like it's not just that because I know like in other scenarios it does what it wants to, but mostly it's like say when danger's coming towards his way, someone's trying to hit him. I always think about like I can't get past, and I'm sure we've talked about this before in Spider-Man 2, where Doc Ock throws a car at Peter Parker, and I think about what does that accomplish when he wanted to find Spider-Man? If he didn't know that was Spider-Man, why would you throw a car at this nigga?
Which he didn't.
He didn't. To the lore of that, he did not know, and he threw a car at a regular human being. I don't understand that scene. No, it's just like,
he knew that Spider-Man was his boy. That's it. He knew Spider-Man was his homie, right?
So is Spider-Man gonna fucking teleport and save him?
Yeah, dude. I mean, the Raimi movies operate on a healthy dose of like rule of cool. You know,
of course.
Like it's very Dragon Ball in the sense of like, look, this is gonna like, why is he gonna do this? And it's like, because it's a cool shot. And I want to get him twirling under a car because I think it would look sick.
Right, of course.
You know? And also it's like, well, what's the justification? What's the justification for this? So it's like, I don't know, man. Dr. Octopus is a genius, but he's also being driven insane. There you go.
Of course.
That's when like, he saves MJ at that moment, right?
Yeah.
He does, yeah.
If I was Mary Jane Watson, I would have not let him leave without answering questions at that moment.
Like, yo.
I'm like,
well, she got kidnapped, so I don't think she had much of a choice.
That's right before she got kidnapped, right?
Yeah.
She got kidnapped, I think, literally 20 seconds after that.
Right after she got kidnapped. The idea of him throwing a car, because think of it like this, right? Peter dodged that car. A few people did it. A few people didn't dodge that car.
Yeah.
That restaurant was full. That's almost full of people, dude.
There's a lot about like, dude, you can't. There's certain things like everything will fall apart if you think about it too much.
That's why, which is a great truth. You can't enjoy
like even Spider-Man 2. Like I love Spider-Man 2, but it's like how is Dr. Octopus paying for? Like he goes to the bank to steal all that money, and then he escapes somehow. Even though he's like this giant.
Somehow he escaped.
Like who's not going to know? I get it's New York and. People are kind of inattentive, but like people are gonna notice like a 4-armed mechanical freak gallivanting through the city. So he gets this money in coins, by the way, in physical coins. How is he paying? Because he uses that money to buy the material for the machine.
Sure,
but who the fuck is he paying? Where is he going to make this transaction? How is he transporting this?
So we must assume the Russian mafia. He like probably gave the money to them. You just don't think
about it because it's a fucking.
Of course, we
don't
think about that.
And it's just ridiculous.
There's a lot of things like that we obviously don't think of when it comes to the plot. But then there's some eyesores.
The thing is that we do. The thing is that this is how it is. The enjoyers don't, right? The people that enjoy the things don't, right? What happens is that the people because it's so easy to criticize everything. It is, in fact, especially the way we live in now. It's almost incentivized. Because sure. I seem smart if I make thing that people like seem bad. You know, that is the nature of how everything works now for the most part. But it's just like everything seems silly. The world we live in is so much dumber than a lot of the things that we make fun of for being stupid. Guys, we live in a world where Trump might win presidency and then go to prison and be the president in prison.
Well, if he won, he would just pardon him. He would just figure out a way to pardon himself. Even though people have asked the question.
I understand that.
It would be like law. That would be a great law-abiding citizen too.
Like that there's even a possibility of that happening. It is the clownish shit that is.
It's like, wait, you can be you can't have a federal crime against you and run for presidency, but you can be the person who is the president. You can't even
vote if you're a felon.
And then get a felony.
That part of it is, I think, that part of it is I think the craziest part is that like you can't even.
If you go to jail for felon, you can't vote.
You can't vote.
You can be fucking president.
If you do what Trump did, you can't even vote. That's pretty wild. Like if you think about it,
stupidest fucking shit.
You know what makes more sense than that? Miles Morales going Super Saiyan.
Yes,
that makes more sense than the fact that that's possible.
Infinitely more sense. In the scenario, Spider-Man getting a car Peter Parker getting a car thrown at him makes infinitely more sense than every scenario that you can think of. Right now, if someone just appeared behind me out of nowhere. He didn't duck. He just conjured himself into existence. And then he just snapped my neck. You'd be like, that is actually more believable than what is happening right now in our politics. Because that is the dumbest fucking shit ever.
We live in such a fucking stupid. We live in a version of the world where we got too much information about everything, but people are way too stupid to use it. We have too much information about how everything works, but everyone's too dumb to apply it. So we're just looking at this wealth of information.
Well, the problem is there's too many bad actors. It's like, say, so the Baltimore Bridge that collapsed because that boat slammed into it. Usually people's first thought isn't, is this a conspiracy? It's become that because bad actors have planted that shit into their brain to think that way. I saw a woman and I replied to her because her first question to ask was, how is this not an accident? And I said, that's the wrong fucking question to ask you. Why are you not a regular human and ask what happened? What do you mean, how is this not an accident? What the fuck how do you know? What the fuck do you know?
What's crazy about that is that, like, there's such an inherent implication, right?
Yeah.
We have so much more faith in the tenacity of human intelligence than we really should. Like, the question shouldn't be, like, how is this not an accident? The question is, like, honestly, the miracle is that this doesn't happen constantly. Like, the fact that this doesn't happen all the time is amazing. The fact that it happened this time is like, well, dude, like, okay, so, like,
sure.
What would be the impetus for this to be an attack? It happened at 1:30 a.m. at the lowest traffic hours. There was, like, a mayday from the ship, even, apparently. So, like, some people knew ahead of time, and they were able to stop certain people from going on the bridge at a certain point because they thought something might be wrong. You could see footage, like, of the boat, like, losing power. It's not like a fucking...
It wasn't a direct course. It wasn't why would it not be a fucking submarine shooting a fucking missile into the thing and then just go home? Easy work done.
Or just doing it with no mayday.
Yeah.
At, like, way faster speeds in the middle of, like, a really busy time of day.
And why
like,
has nobody claimed it? Because that would be the point of terrorism. The point of terrorism is to claim and be like, we did this for this specific reason, for a specific purpose. That is the definition of terrorism. And what is
I don't know,
there's
man.
so many, like, it's like, oh, when I first saw this happen, I was just like, holy shit. Like, what happened? My first thought is, what the fuck happened? Because that's just normal. You're like, what the fuck happened? Like, what is this? What am I looking at? And then you see some explanations. They're like, well, we think they lost power, and then they got out of control, hit the bridge. And then obviously people talking about possibly poor infrastructure for it to collapse that easily, which is fucking scary to think about, like, riding on those bridges.
Bro.
You know what's fucked up? I sometimes think I'm too paranoid about when I see these bridges and highway passes. Like, say there's one that I get off every morning, or say when I'm dropping JoJo off to work, there's a light, and then I will sometimes be under this one bridge, and I sometimes have this little bit of anxiety that, like, man, I hate being under this thing because, you know, how secure is this thing? When's the last time anyone's tested this infrastructure or anything?
To be fair, the parts of the bridge that are on land are very, very secure. But so if you're driving under it, like, you're probably fine. But, like, I know what you mean, where it's like, I don't like driving across long bridges. Like, it freaks me out.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that, like, the possibility of them crumbling is, like, very, very slim to none. But, like, I remember seeing a video a long, long time ago. I think it was, like, a bridge in Tacoma, Washington. I could be wrong. Like, for some reason, that's what's coming up in my mind. And they showed it to me in school of the bridge, like, twisting like paper, basically.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen that video?
That's when it's like extremely windy. Yeah, they wind.
And no, but, like, wild, like more than I
Or, like,
physically
earthquakes,
understood.
like,
Yeah,
really
you
bad
even knew
earthquakes.
that asphalt could do that. Like,
that I didn't know that concrete could even be that flexible. So, like, to see that was like, that's disgusting. I hate bridges. So, like, that fucked me up ever since.
Dude, when I found out that building swayed.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
it's crazy.
What happened is I don't know, man. I feel like I've lived on Earth so, like, once I went to, like, when I went to Europe and I felt like over the ocean turbulence, I was just like, oh yeah, if it happens, I die. Like I can't be bothered being scared of this stuff. Because if I'm involved in it at the point where I'm gonna die, I'm just gonna die. Like when I was going to London, when we were going over the Atlantic, we got hit with turbulence that was so bad. I'm still traumatized about it. Like I was just like, I thought I was gonna die. Like I don't like my dad. I was holding my dad's hand, crying. I was like holding on his hand, like crying because I was like, I'm gonna die right now.
But counterpoint. What if you deserved it?
Exactly. If I'm going, I'm going. I don't care. I'm not afraid of bridges anymore. I don't like planes. They give me anxiety, but it's like whatever. You know, like if I'm on a plane.
No, bridges. No, I will say, dude, bridges freak me out more specifically because I feel like the likelihood of me surviving is less. Like a plane, I'm done.
Okay.
A plane, I'm done. But like if I'm falling into like
you feel you're gonna be maimed and hurt really bad, but you're gonna be alive.
Like I feel like if I fall into the not the ocean, but like a river in my car, I feel like I'm gonna be like incapacitated for a while, and like I could die, but like I don't know what the likelihood of that is. Like apparently like there weren't even really. Well, I haven't looked up like what the.
It was unknown last time I checked.
Yeah, last time I saw, but like they saved at least one person. I know that.
I saw 6 to 8 people were missing. That's the last time I heard, but I haven't.
That's what I saw too last time.
Losers missing.
But dude, like it is. But I will say though, like there's certain people who are like, I get that. Look, infrastructure is a big conversation, and I understand why that needs to be talked about. But there's some people like. Oh wow, look at how that bridge crumbled. Like the infrastructure must be so bad. It's like bridges aren't designed for that like type of impact. 79 tons or like some absurd amount of weight to be rammed into their main support structure. Like that's not, it's kind of like saying like, wow, the Twin Towers must have been really shoddily put together. They couldn't even handle like 2 planes crashing into them. It's like, that's not infrastructure. That's just not what they're for. You know? So I do agree though. Like, I mean, like obviously these bridges need better upkeep, and like they probably what they really should have done, because as far as I understand, like they didn't have a lot of bridges have certain degrees of like safety measures in place specifically around those key structural points because they are so pivotal to the structural integrity of the bridge. You could build the best bridge in the world, but if something destroys like one of the central pillars, like that whole thing's fucking collapsing because that's just the physics of a bridge. Because they need to have that dynamic sway. They need to, they need to be able to,
makes sense.
They need to be malleable enough. So like you can't have a rigid bridge really. So certain bridges have a bunch of like basically like concrete things just under the water. So that way, like if any boat comes near it, it'll crash into it. It almost acts like fake land kind of to prevent it from like hitting the pillar straight on.
Yeah.
This bridge didn't have that as far as I know.
Yeah,
like it didn't have any of that extra safeguard. It was just like the pillar, and then
it's interesting because even when stuff like because you hear like skyscrapers, apparently, I've never really thoroughly looked into this, but you hear like say usually at a skyscraper level that they are built to withstand crashes, like airplane crashes, and it was a talking point that I always hear, like say when 9/11 was being brought up, like, oh, how did they so easily crumble when they're designed for this? And I'm like, well. In theory, you think about like theories of you're building things to like say even when it comes to car crashes and all these things, sometimes the simplest car crash is actually sometimes the deadliest ones. I'm like, you can't really account for so many variables. And so I guess it was more terrifying that I would have expected the bridge to be badly damaged, but I guess seeing it collapse like that, that's what makes our brains be like, holy shit, that seemed very like obviously a forceful impact by a lot of tons of force, but it still also was like, damn, that shit just like came apart in one. So it was kind of like terrifying in a way that, I wonder if it could have been prevented, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day,
it's jarring. It's jarring to see for sure. I remember seeing it and being like, that looks crazy.
Yeah,
especially at like, especially if you look at it at like high speed. If you look at it like sped up, it looks like fucking balsa wood. It's insane.
I would like to talk about the idea that I can't believe in my heart of hearts. Like, there are smart people out there that are going to probably be like, it's actually very true. I can't believe a skyscraper can endure a plane hitting it. Like, I can't, like, you can't tell me math.
Listen, to be fair, to the Twin Towers, they were burning for a while before they came down.
That's
If
true.
I remember correctly, like they didn't.
I think one of
they
them
didn't
just
go down
came
immediately.
down.
No,
One just
no.
came
I don't think-
straight
No,
down.
because they
No.
were both because one was on fire for a while, and then the second plane hit the both buildings were hit by the time one of them came down, and like they were like separate. Like it wasn't like a long time necessarily, but it was longer than I would anticipate a building to withstand a plane for
I
sure.
can't. My brain can't. My mind can't. What buildings are made of, and
I mean,
what speed a plane can move.
I think
My
like
brain can't understand it. I just can't. My brain's not rational. I can
well,
very
that
well
makes
be
sense
wrong.
though.
So here,
That
so,
makes
okay,
sense,
so
though.
here it is. The North Tower collapses after burning for 102 minutes. So that's an hour.
That's over.
That's an hour of burning,
Yeah.
which
It's
is
well over an
crazy.
hour, yeah.
So like, I don't know.
Yeah, so
That
like,
doesn't
it's
make
an hour and
sense
a
to
half.
me. Like
It's-
how?
So it did withstand. It's just a matter of like, well, like if you're above that, if you're above the impact, then you're fucked. But if you're below it,
He's gotta wait
if you're
it out,
below it,
buddy.
you have
He's
you
gotta wait it
theoretically
out,
have
guy.
enough time to maybe get
It was
out.
very interesting because if the plane was hit, it was in such it hit in such an area that like it really was able to collapse after a while because of the the damage of where it was, and then finally starting
was
to
enough
buckle,
on the top
and then
left
so it was
as
enough
well.
on the for the force to make it pancake, and it was just like one of those things where it was so. I understand the conspiratorial mind because of how. When you think about, like, say, the terrorist in like Saudi Arabia or wherever they actually were from, I think they're actually Saudi and not, from Afghanistan, or obviously not from Iraq. That you, with the resources that they have, you're like, oh, how the fuck, like our Black Ops teams and stuff like that, like you don't see them carrying out fucking amazing shit like that. So the idea that they were able to do this completely on their own. I understand the conspiratorial mind when you start looking into like this. I totally understand the thing. However, this world is so weird that like, yeah, some weird shit. Like, I hate saying that, but it's like some weird shit just happens and it's such a phenomenon that like you can't, and you try to replicate it, you're never going to be able to do it again.
The world's often
The
stranger
simplest
than fiction.
explanation,
It's, like, weird.
the simplest explanation is often just the most accurate one.
But here's
it's just
but
like
I
what-
struggle with
is-
that though. It's not a simple explanation though. That's the thing that I struggle with.
No, but what I mean is like, when you try to overcome, like, like when people were like, well, who the fuck could have, like, you're telling me people hijacked a plane in 2001? How's that even possible? That's not like, it's very possible, actually.
It's
the idea that
definitely possible,
the
yeah.
idea that
It didn't happen before.
I don't
that.
think
It's
people
crazy
fully
sometimes.
understand how chaotic the world is and how amazing it is that this kind of thing isn't happening on a fucking minute by minute basis. Like, when I think about the amount of gun violence in the United States, and then I think about the amount of guns, it's staggering to me that it is as low as it is. It's high, and it's disgraceful and depressing and really terrible. But like, the fact that it is as low as it is versus the amount of guns that are out there, and the fact that like planes are as susceptible to hijacking as they used to be, but it only happened like a handful of times. That's the astonishing thing to me, is that it doesn't happen consistently.
Well, it's just such a it's such a gamble, and I guess that's why people were so.
Right.
But when I guess the thing that messes me up is when you use when you apply like Occam's razor. Actually, some of the conspiracy theories seem more plausible than the actual explanations. That's the things that fuck me up. Where I'm like,
well, sometimes Occam's razor is the conspiracy, like Epstein, right? It's like, what's Occam's razor? It's like, oh yeah. Like he did not kill himself. That's the simplest explanation of that entire story, and that is a conspiracy theory,
and so
technically. But it's not actually more complicated than anything else.
You know what I think about? What I would always hear about when people talk about the conspiracy of 9/11 specifically is one of the things that they always fall back to, and I think they always apply it to their own like beliefs and empathy or whatever, because they say, so you think like the government would kill this many people to do this? And I'm like, look, I'm not saying that they did this, but if you were asking me the question, would they do this? What the fuck is 3,000? Dude, when you just talk about getting in bed with the medical industry and say 500,000 people over a few years in the opiate crisis and this one family that are now being they're getting shut down, and they were charged like $8 billion. That's just that's 500,000 people with just selling and forcing doctors, making them give more people higher opiates to make sure that they fucking get hooked on them so they can buy more. Like, to think that like
insane.
Seriously, what is 3,000 people to billions of dollars? Like if when you think about that, like,
people don't understand. Like, dude, there's been wars. Bro. There's coups going on.
Yeah.
There's dog. Like,
I'm like, it's a bad connection to make.
It's not that it would be above
don't
them.
matter that much to the powers that be. Like, it really don't.
Dude, I know firsthand because my dad got a letter in the mail a long time ago from like the army, basically saying like, "Hey, sorry, you might have been exposed to Agent Orange. Sorry about that." And it's just like, okay,
sorry about that. You want to elaborate,
dude? Like 30 years later, he gets that like in the mail, just like from some random intern or whatever, and it's just like, that's so like they don't care about people.
Oh yeah,
it's just a matter of like,
I hate it. It's fucking stupid.
I do think there is an element of just like, but there is so much. There's so many reasons for 9/11 to have happened in the way that we understand it to have happened. Like all the blowback, all of our intervention, the fact that we like did what we did with Osama bin Laden, with the CIA, and all that shit.
The fact that it could have been prevented, too.
Blowback, baby.
The fact that it could have been
that too,
very,
but then also
prevented,
like,
which is insane.
There is an element of like, I don't know, man. I don't think it's like an orchestrated thing by the U.S. government. I think it's something that happened, and then we were like, we can use this.
100%. That's the thing. When you use Occam's razor. When you think about if you're an evil person that wants to maximize profits, because you can even say this to all the major wars that we've been in, and the same thing where there's evidence. Apparently, there's evidence that say the Pearl Harbor attack, the Australians warned the Americans that something's going down, and it was just let it happen. Meaning that if they didn't orchestrate that shit, the Japanese wanted to destroy them. But if you let this happen, you get the Americans in the war, which is so much fucking profit for who actually really matters to these people. Because when you think about it, everything that we do, corporations, there's actually a wonderful, it's great. So Cody Johnson has this thing called Some More News, and he just dropped a video on like corporations being people. I don't know if you remember Mitt Romney. That was a whole thing back in the days. Corporations are people, my friend. But so he just did a whole video on this. Yeah. And it's such a great video to show you how corporations have infinitely more rights than people. It's such a great video. Just showing you how like corporations matter.
That's why you got to make yourself a corporation, man.
Seriously, honestly. You can fucking do, dude. You could literally destroy people's lives legally. You could ruin people. You could what?
I can't believe I almost forgot to mention this.
What?
We have to look, the bridge fall down, Maryland sad.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck is going on with P. Diddy right now? What is going on? What is occurring?
So I've been hearing about it for forever, but because it's like a very black centric thing, I never brought it up on a podcast because I know most of our viewers are not. They're just not. Man,
I know that he killed Tupac. But like what
he didn't kill. You don't know about him killing Tupac. The thing is heavily correlated that he had something to do with Biggie's death. That's the thing.
There's
he had something to do with Biggie's death. But it's a lot. It's a lot. Apparently Tupac, not Tupac. Wow, you fucked me up now. Apparently Diddy has been sexually assaulting rappers for decades.
Rappers,
for decades.
Underage people.
Underage
is that
singers,
real?
Everything.
I don't know what to make because I saw that like his house was like raided, and then I saw like that he was like, but I don't know how much of this is real anymore. You know what I mean? It's all Twitter shit. So I saw something that said like he was on a boat somewhere, or that he fled. Or that he was, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but like out of nowhere, all of this P. Diddy shit started happening. I was just like, yo, what's going on?
Apparently he's sexually assaulted. Apparently like there was one person talking about like how a rapper named Wale went over to his house one time and he might have said something wrong to, do you know who Cassie is?
I do.
No.
You of course you know, but like it's like this girl Cassie, very pretty young artist. He said something to her, and then P. Diddy had his guys hang him like literally like a movie hanging him by his sneakers over a banister, threatening to drop him off a building. Like, it's a bunch of wild stuff going on, P. Diddy.
There is...
That is just like, apparently he sexually assaulted Meek Mills and Usher and Justin Bieber.
He's killed
and there's a bunch
people.
of like racketeering charges being found, people getting killed charges. Like, it's just
But here's the thing.
everything.
It's the same... Go ahead. Keep on.
What's crazy is that every motherfucker from the 90s was saying shit like this a long time ago, and he was involved in fuck shit. Like Mace said shit like that. 50 was talking about shit like that a long time ago. Like, for decades, people have been saying shit like this. And even the common people, they're like, oh yeah, he had something to do with Biggie's death. Everybody knows X, Y, or Z. And now all of it's coming to light. And I'm like, is y'all just understand that this is weird? This has been like literally since I was a little kid.
I've known he's been weird for a while, but I didn't know he was so weird that they like his house would be raided.
No, this is it's.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is in the same vein as when Harvey Weinstein, when all this stuff started coming out him. It's like, if you're aware of the industry, like say if you're even adjacent to the industry, you knew everything. All those people in the industry. I might have referenced this before. Drawn Together. I really liked that show. And in one of the episodes, they just straight up dropped a little, thing, just calling, what's his name?
Weinstein?
Not Weinstein, but who's the other? Bill Cosby. So Bill Cosby was another person who got exposed around the same time.
They
dropped a thing about him, calling him a sexual predator. In that, because like everybody in the industry, they knew that those people were doing all that wild shit. I mean, when you think about, say, in the industry, like the people advocating for Roman Polanski to come back, and I'm like, bro, this guy raped a 13-year-old girl, and there's people there
were celebrities. There were celebrities who signed that letter for the Nickelodeon thing. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, I saw it.
Quiet on Set.
I was sad that
a bunch of people.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
sign that letter. But like, what were you gonna say?
No. Like, piggybacking off of that. Yeah, that the whole industry, they're disgusting. Here's an obvious fucking pedophile. And then they're just like, oh, even saying some people that Drake was the one that initiated. He must have been trying to seduce him.
So
I'm like,
wild.
These people are freaks.
Too.
So the same thing in like in the community, especially when it came to like hip hop and stuff. There was a lot of the same people that were advocating for him, and there was other people that would just casually mention the degeneracy, but didn't want to do anything about it. Like they've always known about it, but they're just like, yeah, like say a lot of times it was always chalked up to, oh, it's the Illuminati shit. Like, oh, Puffy does some Illuminati shit. Like, oh, some gay shit. Like, there's initiations and doing gay. You hear a lot of speak about that, and nobody wanted to go. Well, I kind of understand in hip hop community not wanting to go to the police. I kind of understand that because it doesn't. That's not. You don't really want to go to the police for much of anything unless you feel like it's your last resort.
You go to the police and you get in trouble somehow. You're like,
you somehow are gonna.
I even.
Just for bothering them, they're gonna fucking find something on you, and so I get that it's slow to come out, and it's a whole the whole victim thing. It's obvious how fucked up it is, and how you always say, "See, this is why a lot of people don't want to talk," and yeah, because there's a powerful fucking person that who has clearly killed somebody, who smoked like. There are people that are close to him been like, yeah, he definitely smoked that dude up in the club. He smoked him in the club, like for sure. Like he killed somebody in a club, and I forgot who smuggled the gun in. Somebody smuggled the gun in for him in a purse. I don't think it was Faith Evans. I can't remember who it was, but somebody smuggled the gun in for him. It's allegedly definitely did it. That's what people are saying though. People are saying he definitely did it. Like this isn't news. People are saying there's video footage of him right before Biggie died, looking guilty as all hell. Like he knew something was going to happen. And it could just be he was having a bad day. But when you do look at him, it looked like this nigga looks like something. I've never seen someone look so like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like something's about to go down kind of a thing. It's not to be a conspiracy theorist, but
it's funny. It's sad. Obviously people are going through that, but it's funny because I've been hearing this shit for so many years of my life. For so many years of my life, I've been hearing P. Diddy's he's a fucked up guy. He's involved in some fuck shit, obviously. And like the fact that like now it's main stage is like, wow, this is what it's like to be. This is like to get here ahead of time. This is what it's like to be at a place ahead of time, seeing other being normal. Like people say instead of saying no homo, people say no Diddy now. That's
No
crazy.
Diddy.
Well, the thing
People
about
say
it
no
too.
Diddy. That's wild.
The thing about it really though is that like it's not even necessarily that it's surprising, because even I've heard stuff like that. It's more about just like, if everybody knew why now would any, like, you know what I mean? Like, why would anything happen now versus back then versus at all?
It's the ball rolling. Somebody finally had the courage to go and take legal action in the same way people were trying to dismiss what's his name, Russell Brand. Russell Brand has a long laundry list of sleeping with young girls, doing a bunch of fuck shit. And there were people trying to say, you know, all these conservative homies were being like, oh, it's just an attack. But there's receipts. All the receipts are there and him responding. It all happened. But and there was an investigation that took a long time. And then there was a documentary that came out showing all the evidence. And it's one of those things that it took somebody to get the fucking ball rolling. And then all these other people started getting involved. And they're like, fuck, okay, all right, this person did it. Somebody settled with Diddy. Other people are like, I'm going to do it too. And people don't understand that like, what is it called? Like it's like the Spartacus effect. It's like, you know, like I'm Spartacus, and then other people start fucking standing up and being, I'm Spartacus, and now people start showing solidarity, but it takes that one brave person to do it. So it's actually talking about, because we're talking about all these horrible allegations. There was something that happened in the in the Minecraft community, and the thing that's fucked up about the Minecraft community is that nobody's surprised if you ever hear a story about any type of degeneracy, assault, or anything that happens in the Minecraft community. People are immediately like, oh yeah, it must be true, because unfortunately there's a lot of perverts that are in there. I think for the same way, there's a bunch of perverts that are in religious institutions because they know they can prey on young people. You know, they're just suggestive.
Yeah.
They're
this actually kind of ties into something that I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of, and it bothers me because I don't necessarily disagree, but I see a lot of like, it's always like some conservative Twitter account that goes like, oh man, pedowood, it's Hollywood, and it's all full of pedophiles. And it's like, I really, as sad as this is to say, I think people don't want to admit that, like, people are really comfortable thinking that this is a problem that exists in specific places.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, oh, it's Hollywood. Oh, it's just like the big wigs in the executive industry. It's like, I regret to inform you that you've probably got people in your fucking family.
That shit's a hard
people.
That's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, man.
That's really difficult to comprehend. I can barely comprehend it. But like, this is not like, oh, some liberal Hollywood elite exclusive thing. Like, you got people in schools, in the military, they're fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's fucking sad and disturbing. But it does bother me when people talk about it. It's like, oh, it's just like, oh, it's all like Hollywood is just uniquely full of pedophiles. It's like, nah, man. Nah.
The world is, dude.
That would be nice if it was just Hollywood. Like, it's like, oh my god, how simple of a problem that is.
Just stay away from there.
Then we can just focus on dismantling that. But the stagnation
dude, like,
comes.
I know for a fact. Like, I know for a fact. Like, I know we're hesitant as a society to put that label on women. But like, I went to school, and I know for a fact that there were female teachers sleeping with underage students.
110%.
A lot.
It's
like more than you would, more than I can count on a single hand.
Yeah, they just don't get exposed.
So, which is already too many for a fucking small, you know, community or whatever you want to call it.
110%, dude.
They don't get
exposed. They're
pretty much every pretty much every school, like every high school, had one of those teachers. Pretty much.
At least.
Yeah, we just don't see it as a problem in society.
Damn well,
that's all that is. So they don't get exposed nearly as much because many of the victims don't see themselves as victims because of how we're socially
they're brainwashed
conditioned.
into thinking that it's fine.
We're socially conditioned to they're not seeing themselves as a victim. So yeah, there's absolutely a lot of women predators out there that are in similar roles, and why people focus on Hollywood the most, especially because of conservatism, because mostly that is liberal arts. If you're doing things in artistic way, you tend to lean left. It's why, like, say you see, I wanted to see what was going on about this whole Hassan. There was some Discord leaks, and it looked like he was threatening offing himself, apparently, because he only had 13,000 concurrent viewers. So that was out of context, what it looked like, and a lot of people were making fun of him. So I watched his stream because I wanted to see what actually it was about. And he was specifically talking about, he wanted to do some normie shit. But, like, anytime he talks about normie stuff while he's streaming, thousands of people will leave if he's not specifically talking about politics. And he was upset about that, like, why the fuck can't you people be normal and not just be like, I only want you to talk about politics 100% of the time. It's like, normal people don't only want to talk about politics. And so he made that thing being hyperbolic of, like, you know, offing himself or ending his stream or something like that. He was just being hyperbolic. And in that scenario, it was one of those things where I saw Tim Pool making fun of him, and all these people, like the pundits, were making fun of him, saying that, like, yeah, it's weird that, like, yeah, this is all you got and you're losing all these viewers. It's not true. Anything that they were saying was bullshit. Like, his subscriber count, he has like 50,000 subscribers almost or something. He's fine. But they were saying all this shit like, oh, why don't you diversify your income? It seems like people on the right, and they used the Cording for an example, like he has a coffee company and all this stuff, this and that. And then they're missing the big picture. It's like, people that are artists, he was like, he was basically saying, how come left-leaning streamers and creators don't really diversify their income and have multiple businesses? And it was like, the big difference from my observation is that the people on the right don't have talent on average. The people that we see, they just don't. Let's just be honest.
Not
a Ben
the same
Shapiro,
way.
a Steven Crowder, a fucking Tim Poolkin is an artist, but he started off on the left and started grifting on the right. He started making more money to grift on the right. But he started off being a journalist, guerrilla journalist, artist, skateboarder on the left. He does have talent, but then he just started to maximize his profits by going to the right. But like all of the biggest pundits don't have any real fucking talent. So all they're worried about is maximizing profits. So then they start other businesses to get passive income and maximize the profits. Where people on the left who are typically, like, say, artist people who typically lean left, are doing their passion projects, and they're not worried about maximizing their profits by, I'm going to buy this real estate and then I'm going to rent it out. I'm going to buy a coffee company. I don't give a fuck about coffee. I drink coffee. But you start a coffee company like Jeremy Quartering's coffee thing to make money. Not that you're passionate about fucking coffee. You know, like, say, it's just like, it's an easy business venture. That's why a lot of people on the right have actually started coffee companies. There's a lot of them. Damn. But
how did that even happen?
I don't know.
I tapped and it just fell over, and I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
But yeah, it's just like
big tap.
It's just like a thing where you see I'm going to put my hand in multiple cookie jars because I want as much money as possible, versus the artist that's not usually worried about that. That's why usually people even be starving artists is like, I make just enough to what I'm doing, or like, say, you'll be a rich motherfucker like Hassan or Destiny or whatever, and you're not putting you're not trying to become a billionaire for no fucking reason. You're just like, I make plenty of money right now doing what I'm doing, and even if my stream disappeared, I still have enough money to survive for the rest of my life because they've made millions already. So it's just in the thing that, like, and they think that's stupid, that like you're not maxing out on you're not min-maxing capitalism essentially. And I'm like, well, what, like, you know, why do you have to? Why the fuck do you have to?
Yeah, I would say generally that's kind of true. Like there's some outliers. I think like Marty O'Donnell's an obvious one where like the guy's like obviously a musical genius and he's like a right-wing guy. But like it's very rare that you find that, and I think it's just like the way that certain brains are wired. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's not a
the
obviously
real science
nothing
behind
is
it, but it's a noticeable enough trend to be like, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
but
I guess my whole point was just why. But anyway, like the whole focusing on, like, say, the whole Hollywood thing, like those people just focus on the left because they just want to shit on the left all the time and talk about this and the grooming and all this shit, and it happens everywhere. It would be sad. We get in this stalemate where they won't concede to, because I know all the numbers when it comes to religious abuse, when it comes to kids. Like I've studied this extensively because of how disgusting it is and how there is, as far as any of the large pundits go that are on YouTube, Daily Wire, anything like that, it is zero. It is, and I mean not 1%, it is zero mention of, hey, maybe we should do something about this when it comes to religious institutions. And it is probably the grossest fucking thing about all of this. And then it makes me personally default to like, I don't want to deal with any of this because it's just, there's just too many fucking weirdos and bad actors that pretend to want to think this shit is bad and they won't do anything about it. It's just, oh, well, you know, this shit is just getting weird, man. It's just,
The culture
Yeah.
it takes forever for Diddy to get clapped. It takes forever for any of these people.
be like white on rice, right? On him. They're on this motherfucker getting swatted.
We gotta wait for criminal charges. I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Well, there's a child on his lap, and it's like, dude, you're not protecting these children, dude. You're
Well,
literally not helping these poor beings, man.
There's a lot of there's a
I
lot
don't
of
know,
wild
man.
shit, man. It's like we already kind of touched on the whole
America makes me feel like I'm living in a
We
fucking
should-
so much healthier when I stay away from the internet entirely.
right. Of
My
course.
brain is so because my
course,
brain
yeah, it's bad
just
for you.
gets sick when I do go and look at stuff I have to worry about work for. It's like
I just admire the
feel like-
people that are able to consistently make jokes about this fucked up stuff. It's something.
My heart is like, dude, no, don't do that right now.
Dude, when people were calling, when people
It's
were
like,
in,
don't
in-
do
in-
that right now. It's not funny. And I'm like,
When people were
Yeah.
in Baltimore and they were like, oh, this
DI, diversity,
I think
equity, and
div-
inclusion. Now, so the whole thing is, you know,
there have been black
didn't
marriages
hear
were
about this shit.
terrible. They were a terrible time. But socially, I think there was a veneer. We don't know it, but I have family that were there. That was just like, oh yeah, it was.
able to have access to all this information, be able to debunk
That's
stuff
what it is.
easily.
I think so.
You had these relationships with their pastors, with people that were in these authority places, and they just trusted whatever dumb shit.
Which chances are you do, because we're in the modern era, and that's just how people communicate. It's how a lot of file. And chances are you have an algorithm based on that profile, and chances are there's an algorithm serving you things that are based through its lens, follows you everywhere. So, like, in your free time, you're spending time, like, on your phone at lunch, like, looking at the same, DEI, and you're going to sleep, and you're like, oh, you're going to watch a YouTube video before you go to sleep, and what is it? Oh, it's DEI, and it doesn't fucking stop, and I do think it's led to just, I think, look, the 90s had its own share of problems, there was, like, all sorts of shit, but even, like, I will say this, and this is very real, I don't know how positive it is, but it's real. Where I remember going to school, and I remember being in Catholic school, and people, like, we would call things gay, right? And it would mean dumb.
Sure.
And that's not cool, but I also know for a fact that nobody at that school hated gay people. Like, I know that. Because there was a kid who was gay who everybody loved. And there was, like, literally no problem at all. So there's a discrepancy between there's a discrepancy between language and what people feel.
Yeah, 100%.
That I think was transitioning at that period of time, where people still kind of like to call things gay because that's just what you did, but you also kind of just didn't really carry a lot of stereotypes about it. But like, I think there was just a general. What I'm saying is like there was a general sense of like positivity or optimism in the 90s and early 2000s. That doesn't exist anymore. I think now we kind of assume the worst because we have no reason to assume the best.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's kind of like, dude, it's kind of like the way that you motivate yourself, right? To do anything, where it's like, if you believe you're going to fail, you will fail. And if you believe that you're going to succeed, you have a higher chance of succeeding.
Yeah.
And so, like, I do think there's an element of that where it's like we are so disillusioned with like the way things are going that we are starting to backslide and make that true.
Yeah.
Even if we have progressed a large.
What happens is I think this.
sum.
Right? We went.
I don't know if
from-
that makes sense
We went
what
for a
you
period of
said.
I
time
think so.
where we have so much information about us, and then there's so much autonomy in the words you can say to people. And there's like, because think of it like this, right? There's always been a bunch of asshole people on the planet, right? But they've never been as loud as they are now. They can congregate all together and feed off each other and be as loud as they
They've
fucking
never had
want
the
now.
unification
Yeah.
power that they have now, I think.
Right.
It's
Social
like-
media has
there's
made that
always-
very possible.
There's always going to be bigots, right? And like for me, I think most people genuinely aren't truly bigoted. A lot of people are ignorant. I think a ton of people are fucking ignorant idiots. Ignorant, but not exactly bigoted.
There's
now
if most people were truly bad, this is kind of what I was leaning towards to the gun thing that I was talking about earlier. It's like if most people were truly bad, we would know.
Yeah,
most people, a lot of bigoted people.
Most people aren't bad.
What?
There's a lot of, because it is learned, because that is being a bigot. Like, say if you have a problem with like gay people or whatever it is, that is not ignorance. That is a learned bias. That is absolutely prejudice. Yeah, and there's a lot of it out there. There are tens of millions of people in this country easily that will vote for, or they'll just look at the conservative outlets' numbers and how Fox News is the #1 news network in America. There's plenty of people that are being taught this stuff. But what is, to me, the biggest difference is like this. I already mentioned it. The parasocial outreach is so much more prominent than, say, being centralized to a Fox News, to where there are so many pundits that are so trusted that get tens of millions of views. And we know through propaganda, when you study history, the history of propaganda, we know how it works. It's fear. The people have figured this out a long time ago. You control people through fear. And so these people that normally aren't very bright, they at least understand this enough that as long as you keep pumping out fear to these people, they will stay. And they will not stray whatsoever. So when we're using terms like, going back to originally we were talking about like DEI, and the same thing happened with CRT, is that they trust what the pundits that they watch are telling them. The people that created CRT are alive. Why not just Google and see what they say it's about? And then when you do it, it's like, oh, that doesn't sound bad at all. It sounds completely different from what a Tim Pool or Ben Shapiro says.
I don't know. Sounds pretty gay.
It's very gay, unfortunately. And then like DEI.
It's weird, right?
The DEI has been a thing for fucking decades. And then since CRT's ran its course, since the trans panic is starting to die down, because if you look at the statistics of what voters, what they really want, like say Ron DeSantis just fucking got flamed because he ran specifically on trans hate and book banning and all this shit. And then it turns out that's not that popular, ran out of steam, and then he's nothing. No one gives a fuck about him anymore. So now they're trying DEI. That's the next thing. And so DEI, a perfect example of DEI is just like, well, all right, diversity, equity, inclusion. Let's put Jon Stewart in the fucking early 2000s Justice League instead of Hal Jordan. That is a good example of that, and it worked out extremely well. People were very happy and satisfied with it. If they did that now, those people would be freaking out.
People go crazy about. People go fucking crazy.
It's the same thing with. It's the same thing with. It's the same thing with Seinfeld, by the way, because like I think the first episode of Seinfeld doesn't have Elaine in it, and I think one of the notes from the network is it's like kind of needs a woman because it's just kind of
too much sausage,
kind of a broy kind of sausage fest here. It's not really that interesting. Should get a woman character in there, and like that show is like inconceivable without that character.
I get how the character has fallen. It has some stupid moments, but it's like Miles Morales. It's like oh, they making Spider-Man. It's like they made Flash a redhead. They made Green Lantern a black man. You're fucking retarded. You need to like let him know. Funny.
The one girl that tried to co-opt his speech or whatever while there was the rally, and it's just like there's certain things like I understand BuzzFeed was amplifying zealots and all these people. The root was amplifying zealots
because they wanted to feel like revolutionaries.
Yeah,
when they
it was so bad like because
not.
They want to take in what SJW community or whatever all that shit. And none of these people on, like, say, progressives that make content, because I consume a lot of it, not one of them, I have not seen one person, maybe Destiny, because he's an anomaly. I can't stand his politics in some ways he makes a lot of sense. But he's probably one of the only few people that reflected on a lot of those people on the progressive side, the zealots that were propping up a lot of those loud, crazy voices, stoked the flames of the paranoia that has existed on the right, the white right, for forever, but way before any of us were born. I mean, nigga, have you heard of the fucking Turner Diaries? You heard of Timothy McVeigh? Have you heard of any of the Waco? Any of that shit? These people believe this for the very time that, oh, we're getting replaced, this, that, the FBI's against us, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden you hear some people saying this shit. All of a sudden fucking Richard Spencer comes out of nowhere because he's like, see, I told you. That nigga's been around for a long time, but nobody listened to him. But then finally had the perfect opportunity to see, like, this is what I've been saying. And I'm like, y'all don't want to take responsibility for this shit at all? That you fucking gave birth to these chuds were underground. And then you allowed them to come into the fucking spotlight. And then it's
like dropping anchovies. It's like dropping anchovies on the beach and watching the worms come up. It's just like, it's so.
And they said, oh, it was people that made content like us. We did it. I'm like, nigga, what the fuck did I do? Antis don't exist before the thing existed. If you feel me,
right? I look at most of my videos and I have no problem with it. Pretty much everything that I made fun of back in the day, it's still ridiculous today to me.
I feel you.
Even to the point where like there are some progressive content creators who have come around on some of that, not like outwardly, but like they think it now too. Like I remember specifically the Hillary Clinton stuff. Like when I would criticize Hillary Clinton, it was immediately like, oh, it's sexism. But now it's like super understandable on the left to just like, yeah, Hillary Clinton sucked. Like she wasn't a good candidate. It's like, oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm a bad person because I was right before you. That's really fucking stupid. Yeah. But okay,
I think
but it's whatever. It doesn't matter
for sure.
It's all
that shit is a lot of stupid shit. A lot of people making minor mistakes to not be like, hey. People just not saying, hey, I'm not racist at the end of every video, and then people being like, well, he didn't say that, so that means he is.
Well, other people did ruin that too. Like some people were like,
it was
some people did masquerade that way too, and they're like, I'm a classical liberal, and then they ended up being just like, you're just a bright red.
Yeah.
So like, I don't necessarily blame that, but
I agree.
At the same time, it's just like,
a lot of them focused on the real bad actors. There were some. There were a lot. There were a lot of fucking actual dude. There was I forget her name. It doesn't matter. But she was like, oh, I'm cool, I'm fine. And then literally once she got an audience, she's like, oh, by the way, black people are inferior. It made a video. And it was like, the fuck is this? So there were some people that were bad actors for sure. So like, it's not like they were just making, like, for the progressive side, they were absolutely right about a lot of people that entered the type of content that we were making. But they act like it was the vast majority, or it was all solely. It was like, bro, come on.
Or that like,
be charitable.
Or that BuzzFeed and MTV had like nothing to do with it by pumping out like really misinformed, diluted versions of academic materials that had no business being divulged or explained by people who worked at fucking MTV or BuzzFeed, who don't have the fucking academic qualifications to explain things like the concept of systemic racism to a bunch of people clicking on BuzzFeed to see which fucking Harry Potter character they are. The degree of overstepping that those companies did is insane. It's like, know your fucking place.
It's such a wild. That whole maelstrom is crazy. I try to understand how you guys were existed in that. It's like, what? Like imagine me making a video about like disagreeing with Elijah Farrakhan's anti-Semitic values. And then people assuming I hate black people afterwards. I'm like, huh? I am literally. I am literally. What do you mean?
That's literally what it was.
I remember
making a video.
All of black people, or I don't hate all the Jewish people. Sure, that's not where I'm coming from.
I remember making a video a long time ago about like there was this Black Lives Matter protest where they like laid down on a tarmac. To prevent some planes from going, because I think it was the idea was that global warming was racist or whatever. And I remember being like, this is not how. I remember just making a video being like, this is like a really dumb. This is not how you convey really any of these messages. This is a really dumb idea. Doesn't really do anything.
You're right.
The assumption was immediate. It's like, oh, Chris hates black people. And
he's like, racist, and I'm like, dude. But then
that is like I love it. I love it though because. It is so it's so alien to my real existence. It's comical. Like, it was really difficult to take any of it seriously because it's like, dude, I know for a fact, I'm sorry, I've interacted with more black people in the last 5 weeks probably than the people in my comment section being angry at me have in the last
most of those
20
it's
years.
Interesting.
I know that
It'd be like
you remember
they'd
those,
call you racist, and then you'd be like, "Yeah, they think I'm racist," and you're talking to me and Jalen in the house. Like we're all like in the house talking to each other, and it's like, "Damn, are you, bro?"
Dude, it was so funny because it's like I just remember like the people who would call me out, and it was all these panels. It was like panels and panels and panels of just white
Nothing
people.
but white people. That's why they
Just
call
like
it
the
Red Tube.
Only Cat Black was the only person who was like not just a white person. It was like what is it, Kevin Logan and
I forgot about him. I forgot about Kevin Logan.
Just all these people, these pasty white, like borderline redneck people, and you're just like, you really want to play this game?
Yeah. That was probably the most, like, a lot of Midwesterners and a lot of people from fucking Washington that they just didn't have any experiences like that. They weren't in the true melting pots, and so they had such a stupid.
You look at them, and you know that they get started. Like if Kingston were to turn the corner, if they were walking on the same street as Kingston, and Kingston were to turn the corner at 2 p.m. they would be startled.
They'd be a little bit like, oh shit, like
they'd be like, oh.
Dude, I remember there was one time, speaking of that, this is the funniest story ever. I was coming home from Dunkin' Donuts really late one night when I was like maybe like 19, walking home, and some lady came out and screamed because she's scared.
Did you roar?
Scream made me scream. She was just like, oh, I got scared, this black person. But then, oh my God, it's pretty
so there's
good.
Gay versions of these AI.
It's not funny anymore. That is just arming someone with the wrong information. And now the fact that she brought that up to her gender studies class, she is at minimal gonna look stupid to a lot of people.
Yeah.
At minimal now. She's at the least, she's gonna look dumb in front of her full class.
Look, it's good. Look, I argue, dude, this kind of like ridiculous joking, it's fun. It's good. It's humbling. You know, I love it. Like I remember like some of the most positive moments that I can remember in certain relationships were just like jokes that I completely fell for, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I fucking believed that, because you feel silly, but it's also like, I don't know, it's like a humbling kind of human thing. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm just a person. I can't believe I believe that, but okay, I'm susceptible, and it's fine. It's cute. It's funny, depending on what it is, obviously, but like you can't like Sweeney said, you cannot let somebody leave your presence.
Yeah.
That can't last for more than a day, man.
Right.
It can't.
I think it's good experience, though, for her, because, to be honest, that is, to be that gullible is a problem, in my opinion, especially if we're talking about adults here. I'm assuming you probably in college or something like that. That's not good to be that gullible. It's not. It's just not to even think that a song like that, a serious song like that, exists without it being like some sort of joke, or something. Even like say the Out There Brothers or whatever, though, that I Want to Fuck You in the Ass or whatever, the Out There Boys or whatever. There's that song is still tongue in cheek, even though it's a real song. You know what I mean? Like to think it's like an actual like serious like tone, like, you know what I mean? Like you gotta.
Here's the thing, though. Is she gullible?
Well,
is she gullible, or is she just so, or does she have so much faith in this guy? Like she trusts him so implicitly that she goes like, he would never lie to me.
But I think that's the same side of the coin, where of like, if you have that much trust in
anyone,
gullibility
implies
you lack any skepticism.
Implies that you would believe. No, not necessarily, because like I think I think most people are more gullible like towards the people that they love.
Well, they have
because inherently,
more, but
right?
then there's levels to it, though. Still, just like you would never,
no
even
way
if you wholeheartedly trust
someone I love is tricking me like that.
But see, like if you love someone so wholeheartedly, and then you're like, hey, did you know that the color that we've been seeing in the sky is actually not real? Like, you know, you say it's actually
something like
if you said something so stupid and outlandish, you're not going to believe them, even how much you fucking love them and trust them. You're going to be like, well, you're obviously fucking with me. That's not a real thing. You know what I'm saying? So then there's just you're just completely gullible and you have no skepticism whatsoever versus like, say, I don't care how much you trust somebody. And so in that, and also I feel like she needs more experience, because how the fuck do you not know that song? Like, I mean, there are some songs I think culturally that, like, I don't care if you like that song or not, if you don't listen to it or whatever, but just not knowing about it I feel like is kind of an issue, especially if you live in the Western world. Like, if you live in the Western world, that is a fucking song that is like, you've heard this song before. If you haven't, what the fuck's going on? Like, we need to broaden your horizons. Like, say, Chris, there's a lot of movies you haven't seen, but you've heard of them. You know what I mean? You're aware of them. Like, there's things like that where I'm like, if you were to be like, I've never heard of Scarface, I'd be like, what? I mean, what the fuck you mean? You've never heard of Scarface?
What the fuck are you talking about? What is that?
Yeah.
The fuck is that?
Like, what is that? What do you mean? What is that?
Like me. I'm not
quit the
immutable to lies, right? I'm not immutable to lies, right? Like, I can get tricked. Before living with you, I was way easier to trick, right? Now, because people don't lie for no reason. That's something I just don't understand. People's like, oh, I'm just gonna lie to somebody. It's like, why? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that to somebody? You don't have to. But now I don't believe anything anyone says if I can't discern it at least. If it's like, oh, if I can't be like, oh, that makes sense that could possibly happen, like, I just don't believe that. Like
hey,
the fucking Full Metal
7:30
Sheen thing.
Nah, bullshit.
What did you say?
Bullshit.
The Full Metal Sheen thing. I was like, this is so stupid. This is fucking dumb. And you were like trying on me and Derek for a while, and I was like, why is he? Why?
It was enough.
People on the podcast believed it, and I'm like, oh yeah, people are dumb still.
Well, people believed it, and then people went and reinforced it because, like, they wrote up a Wikipedia entry for it. So, like, people would go look it up, and then there would be results. So and most people don't even bother to check the results. Really, they just check to see like if there are results. So that was like enough for a lot of people.
And also,
Full Metal Sheen is like my favorite. I'm really glad that
is it.
That was an insane lie that I can't believe it worked.
Because it's not even that out of out of the realm of possibility of, say, these adult animators writing, or these people. Hey, let's do a fucking Full Metal. I was gonna say Alchemist. Let's do a Full Metal Jacket.
It was
spoof.
just so.
It
was just so specific. The idea of like Sheen going to Iwo Jima specifically in an interstitial series after Jimmy Neutron that happened in the commercial breaks between other shows, and him suffering PTSD, and like it's just like the idea that
it's ridiculous. Obviously,
I was surprised that people.
It's ridiculous, but I've seen so much wild shit on. I mean, even just watching the X-Men, watching the series, the animated series, like. All of the entire premise of the show and everything that's involved in it, it's not for kids. What fucking kid do you know other than maybe a Jewish kid that has been, you're studying this shit early, would know anything about the fucking final solution? Like, there's an episode that's literally called The Final Decision. Like, how would you know anything about that? And it's like, so I feel like you can obviously put in a Full Metal Jacket reference in a fucking Jimmy Neutron episode if you can literally put Holocaust references over a cartoon show in the night. You know what I'm saying? So it's like not out of the realm of possibility.
So, yeah.
So where I'm like, yeah, it seems wild, but weirder shit has happened.
This seems crazy. That's I get it. But it's not as crazy as it's about to get.
I'm really eager to hear.
It's finna get worse.
I'm really eager to hear an update on this story. I want to know how this goes. I want to know
100%.
And by the way, because I know you guys change your names pretty often, just let me know like in detail. Like,
hey, I'm the
guy who
now.
wrote it. I'm the guy who wrote in who lied about the fucking the sound of semen. Just so we know,
it's
because
me.
I'm not gonna just guess based on
me.
that.
I'm single now. Thanks, Derek. Here's he blames me, and then we have a live show, and then he shoots me like Christina Grimace or whatever, Grimmy or
a
whatever.
lot of this.
He walks right up to you and he airs you out, dog.
Dude, I always think about that at live shows, man.
He walks up to you, he does the Iron Man thing from fucking Marvel 2, and he summons a fucking proton cannon, and we're all next to you.
Proton cannon.
There were some people,
and I'm like, yo, Derek, I think that's for you. I think that gun's for you only because you did this.
Or
yeah,
I guess it'd be better if he just hangs himself and puts that sound of semen thing on repeat. I think that would be better.
The sound of semen.
Let us know. Let us know how this goes.
Yeah.
Although I do think, ostensibly, you might have made a mistake. We'll see how it goes, though. A lot of this depends on how long you've been together, and like a lot of
right,
it, really.
You really face fucked a parrot there, did you?
You really, guys, really, like, I think this is a fun activity, but like, you really got to minimize. You cannot let this escape the day.
You can't.
Real
it's
advice.
Genuinely
like, do not let it escape the day.
insensitive.
That's amazing.
Actually.
It's amazing.
Anyway, Michael B. Jordan in his new movie, Peed.
That wasn't funny. I'm sorry.
So
that wasn't
stupid.
funny.
That's so
That
dumb.
wasn't funny.
Seeing it written out that way though is really fucking funny. What would your reactions be if Keith David in a public statement denounced the Snark Tank podcast and called each of you the hard R?
Ooh.
I don't know how I would feel about that.
I think I would cry for real.
That would make me sad, yeah.
I really love him. I
gotta be real. I would.
Chris, I think Chris and Derek really appreciate him. I actually love Keith David. Like his roles in history of cinema and voice acting are something I really look up to. So I would cry. I would actually really, really it's like Lance Reddick, Lance Reddick, Sterling K. Brown. I look up to them as role models as a black man. And if they were
Bill Cosby,
I hate you. You're an N-word. Kingston Jameson, I'm talking to you. And he points at the camera. He's like, I hope your black ass gets shot. I hope you get mowed down in the fucking street. I'd be like,
what if as he's saying that, he jumps up and then comes on the camera real quick?
he blasts the camera. I'm like, oh my God. Just like me.
It's a reference.
See,
yeah, no, that would be terrible. That would really. We would have to start. Well, the thing is, we would not give up though. We would start a new show, and it would be the same. It would be the same thing. It's okay, well, he hasn't denounced this one.
Yeah.
So we'll just continue until we get him on the show.
I'll be honest,
think
guys.
You're funny.
I have a different.
You guys think you're funny, right? Yeah, you want to come here and
I simp
all
for
these
the
jokes
guy.
about Keith David.
I simp for him, so that level of acknowledgement too would actually make me happy still. So I'd be honest, because
I kind of know what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
the idea that he would even address
That
us at all
level
would
of
be.
acknowledgement would
because that
still
is a
make me
lot.
happy.
Would be the same.
If you tweeted him enough, he'll respond, right? You already got a response from him. What is
Yeah.
it he asked about the podcast, or you asked about the podcast, and he said he doesn't really do
I
them?
was like, would you come on? He was like, well, my fans don't really enjoy podcasts much, so he hasn't done any. And I'm like, damn,
I feel like that's a
dude.
huge disconnect that he doesn't aware of how prominent podcasts are now. He's like, my fans don't really. I'm like, your fans listen to dude. I know not everybody does,
Dude, I would listen to a Keith David podcast where he's just talking to himself.
100%.
Are you kidding?
It's like Bill Burr's podcast. I'll catch it every once in a while. He's just literally just ranting himself about sports and dumb bullshit. And I just like Bill Burr enough to where even when he's just his little soliloquies and other dumb shit that he does, where I'm like, it's enjoyable. And absolutely, I would enjoy him talking about fucking anything. And it's just a thing that I guess he just doesn't care to tap into, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. There's only
Dude,
so
he
much
would
you
probably
can do.
make millions from Cameo, but he would have to do it nonstop.
I really
He was doing nonstop.
want to see Bill Burr do a thing where he goes around making fun of other politicians. Not one politicians,
What do you
comedians.
mean? What do you mean goes around?
I mean,
because every time his best moment is him making all of those idiotic Joe Sphere comedians look like idiots, dog.
Did you see
he
him
makes
flame,
them all
Charlemagne?
seem so stupid.
Did you see him flame Charlemagne? He was on the Breakfast Club.
I saw him on Charlemagne's thing, but I didn't watch
Dude,
it.
it was so funny.
He set fire to him, literally.
Because Charlemagne just had to make a comment about because they were asking about his wife, right? They're asking about Bill Burr's wife, and then they're like, "Oh, how'd you meet?" and this kind of stuff. And he was saying like, "Oh, she lights up the room." There's only 2 people that have done something like that, and one of them was a guy. And then Bill Burr's trying to move on, and then Charlemagne's like, wait, we can't just move on from there. So did you do anything with this guy, or trying to see was there some gay shit? Because obviously he felt that way about his wife. And then he was like, first of all, will the black community when are you guys gonna let go of this homophobia thing? And then he starts dressing down he looks at Charlemagne with his waxed eyebrows and his sandals. He's just calling he looks so gay. The audacity of you to even say anything like this when you're over there looking so gay, and he just flames him. It's so funny.
That's amazing. I did not see that.
It's so good.
Oh, that sounds like a dream.
It was
He
good.
is
I saw it this morning
really-
actually when I woke up, and I was like, fucking Bill Burr. He's so. Out of all the people that that even associated with Joe Rogan, anything like that, I saw this show Joe Rogan and Friends, and everyone was unfunny except for Bill Burr. It was not a good show. And then Bill Burr, I'm like, this guy, He's a real comic, man. And then there's just these other people that are just, like, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Like, even before Joe went insane, I was like, I've watched his specials, and I was like, he's had one good joke, and I think it was about the pyramids, and this was like in 2005 or something, when he had his first special on Netflix.
It's a hot minute ago.
Before my mom was still getting disc from Netflix, and I was like, Mom, you chimp, you can stream shit. Like, we don't need to do this anymore.
Chimp.
My mom
That's
is
so
OG
not nice.
Netflix.
That's so not nice
Derek,
to
are
your
those-
mother.
If I
Derek.
called my mom a chimp, she would slaughter me because she's very
She'd
sensitive.
maul your
to-
face off.
She's so sensitive to like anything that is even remotely associated with like racist overtones or anything, to where I remember one time she would give me like barely any allowance, but I would do so much work around the house. And I remember I said, like, I didn't even finish what I said. I didn't even finish saying anything. And I was like, dude, you're overworking me so much. And she's like, what? Like a slave? And then she was like, you, like, how dare you? And I was like, Mom, I didn't even say it. I was just saying that I'm fucking getting unfair. Like, you're asking for too much work to give me $10 a fucking week.
She could never.
She was about to beat
what you're
the
saying
fuck
is
out. She was about to really beat your ass.
Dude,
she was
she
really
got
about to beat your
fired
ass
up.
for a reason. She should beat your ass, actually. But what happened is that we're fucked and everything's a joke to us. So
I didn't
making
even,
fun of slavery and shit like that.
I didn't
is
even.
funny.
But the funny thing is, I didn't even say it. I was really just trying to make the point of. I wasn't even gonna go there. She went there. But like, I also think what she did was brilliant because it was a great way to just completely mitigate like trying to give me better pay, like trying to give me, like, hey, maybe you want to give me $20, because I was older. I don't remember what age I was, but $10 a week was not cutting it at that point anymore. I was getting $10 a week until I got a fucking job when I was 16. And so by the time, yes, so when you're fucking 15, whatever, and then you're just like, that don't do anything. It was just, fuck it, I'm gonna just spend it on fucking chips and the pink lemonades. I would just have that shit, dude. Like, so
that's it. Yeah,
my mom.
She's really sensitive to those types of things.
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
So she could never fight the aliens in Fallout 3.
No,
she'd flip the fuck out.
There's a lot of things that I probably wouldn't like. I don't know how she would feel about because Kotaku resurrected the. I couldn't believe it. Of course, they would be the ones to resurrect the why there shouldn't be a Resident Evil 5 remake. And then it was the same talking
I really
points.
saw that, and I was like, "Come on!"
Oh, I saw that too.
I read
the
article. Now,
that.
to be fair, most of the article didn't have to do with that. It was just one section of it talking about the racist, blah 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 blah. But most of it was that they were just saying that there's so many better things that they could be doing than a 5 remake. But it's still a bad article because it's a hard disagree with Resident Evil 5 being one of the most celebrated Resident Evils. And everybody can also agree that the tone was different from a regular survival horror game, but they still loved the game. They had fun with it.
You'd say it's like 5's one of the most celebrated ones? You'd go for to see 5's most celebrated ones?
I wouldn't say it's the most celebrated.
I would even say it's not even top.
No, I would say people have come around highly on it, but yeah, I would. Yeah,
when you look at it, I feel like it's the same thing when you just you brought up that thing yesterday because that guy said, "What is a game that most people dislike or hate that you love?" And then Chris, you said, because of the vibe. Apparently, BioShock Infinite was the thing, and it just seems confusing. Because I feel like BioShock Infinite and Resident Evil 5 is very similar in a sense that there was a lot of hate for it, but then also when I look at reviews, when I look at the way that people talk about it when they played it, their memory, and everybody had fun with it. I'm like, where are the people that were like, fuck this game, I hate it, this is garbage, put it in the trash? And I don't find those people. And I know they exist, but I almost feel like it's a... You know how people kind of collectively jump on a bandwagon to just shit on things?
100%,
oh yeah, for sure. I think that happens. That's happening largely because I mean, people. There was a video many years ago that was kind of critiquing BioShock Infinite, and it's like it's like that Spider-Man meme where it's like, nice opinion. Where'd you get it? Did a YouTuber give it to you? And it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, you don't have to like BioShock Infinite, but like, I think the thing for me, it's like, I look at Bioshock Infinite like Halo 2 in the sense that there's a lot of shit cut and a lot of stuff promised, and there was like a trailer that kind of showcased what it would be, and it wasn't really what that trailer was. But the fact that what we got was as good as it was, despite having so much of it gutted and repurposed and retooled, is what makes it so incredible. It's part of what makes it so incredible to me. Outside of the fact that it's just a solid game. People complain about how the most recent Call of Duty campaign was like smoke and mirrors. Basically, it was like barely put together, and it was like barely anything. Dude, people would kill for a single player FPS that was as content rich and as focused and as designed and as cared for as Bioshock Infinite was. It's not an immersive sim, I get it, but like it's a fucking really good FPS, and anybody who doesn't understand that is fucking they're a loony tune. I do know what you're saying. Where like maybe it is just like an online thing with Resident Evil 5. I remember it like reviewing kind of mixed.
Yeah,
but I do remember back in the day, I do remember people liked it, like people that I knew.
I stand on that. Argument you have, I think it's the same argument for Metal Gear Revengeance. I remember people hating that game. I remember people hating that fucking game, like hating it, thinking every aspect of that game was stupid or fucking cringe. And then like I feel like people made YouTube videos about it. People fell in love with it after that.
There is always the retrospectives definitely help. That is very true.
I don't like that game still. I think that game is very silly. I like the Brazilian Samurai. I think he's funny because of how much of an anarchist he is.
I don't know. I liked that game immediately, but to be fair, I liked that game before I really played any of the Metal Gears.
That's the thing. I was already played up until 4, and I played that.
I always feel like the weirdest thing for me, though, is why do people... And I feel like this is kind of a testament that there's some people that specifically just want the same thing each time. And I always say there are say, for example, I popped in some Dragon Age stuff. I don't need the same thing each time because I already have those other amazing games. And if I want to play that style. So for example, Resident Evil 4 came out PS2. Everyone's like, this is the shit. This is revolutionary. 5, very different vibe. But also, when people are saying this is not survival horror, and I was like, well, I'll be honest. Resident Evil 4 to me didn't feel like a survival horror, technically, because I was whooping ass. I'm not in this janky, like when you play survival horror, you're at a huge disadvantage. That is the whole point. You're at a disadvantage. You're not when you're when you're Leon. I'm shooting limbs, I'm kicking people, their heads are exploding, I'm getting badass weapons, fucking, like, I don't feel like I'm not scared, I don't feel like I'm in imminent danger at any point. To me, the scariest part was just, it wasn't even scary, it's anxiety-inducing when, Ashley needs to go, do the lever things, and those assholes are trying to abduct her, and I'm like, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
That probably was the most anxiety-inducing part, because I'm like, okay, they could jack her, and then you can actually. I just remember I shot her on accident one time. I was like, oh well, there you go.
I shot her on accident a lot of times,
dude. I've been speaking of games in general.
Because my dumbass tried to use the rifle, and I'm like, I'm gonna hit him.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to use the rifle.
Her in the face.
Exactly
like,
that.
God damn it! God damn it!
Speaking of games in general, man,
yeah.
like I really Dragon's Dogma. I don't know. It's like calling me, but like I don't know what to make of it because like I hear like really mixed things about performance and shit, and it's just like, man, it looks like a really good RPG. And
I have it. It's really, really, really cool. But I like those kinds of things. That's the thing. I like Monster Hunter. I like party-based like adventure games. Like the Barbarian, the Barbarian. That game is my shit.
The fact that it doesn't the reason specifically that I'm looking at it is because it's like I really wanted that Baldur's Gate experience and I didn't get it from Baldur's Gate, and I feel like this is the kind of one that would this would get me. I think because it plays the way that I want video games to play.
It's more of a
it's not like
video. Yeah,
it's more of a it's more of like a 3D kind of sandbox type. You can move around and it's not like isometric. It's not like point and click type stuff. So or turn-based, as far as I know. I don't think it's
not at all. It's actually...
Although I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Remake too, also. So
to me, there's...
Maybe
I'm curious. God. See, I asked a bunch of people, and it was mixed. It was interesting. On Twitter, it was mixed too, with seeing people. Most of them were saying that there is performance issues in some areas, especially when there's too many people.
Yeah,
One
like
of my
towns.
friends said that he was running over 100 FPS. He was okay for the most part, which makes me. I was like, oh, see, I'm essentially going to have the patience and wait for a couple of patches. That's what I came out to. Even though I have so much
Yeah.
FOMO because, dude, I fucking threw everything aside to beat the first one again just to refresh my memory of everything that went down. And actually, I had so much more fun this time around because I did a choice that I did not do the first time I beat it in like 2013. So this was like it turned the world on its head, and it was like what the fuck? I didn't even know this was. So it was really cool, and so I was like hyped to play the next one, and then all of a sudden I saw the review. I was like, fuck, I can't believe this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't believe
I'm
this.
I'm going to wait. I'm probably in the same boat as you, just because I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Remake right now, just so I can go into Rebirth, and I'm liking it. But also, what is it? I'm trying to beat the first 2 BioShocks again.
Oh, nice.
Because I don't know if you guys saw, but Ken Levine, the creator of BioShock, who hasn't made a game in like ages, finally came out and talked about like that Judas game that he's working on. It sounds so sick.
I didn't see that.
And it just got me like, I have to play BioShock again.
Nice.
So I'm playing that like on the Steam Deck while I wait to go home and play Final Fantasy VII again. But I do like Dragon's Dogma is going to be like whistling at me in the back of my fucking mind because it's just like I want this.
Yeah, dude, they didn't fix
I
some
know it.
things though that I just could. So like playing, I thought, okay, I remember on PS3, played it on PS3, and I'm like, this is dumb that I can't create multiple save slots. This is weird. I've never played an RPG like this ever. That's just really weird. So if I wanted to even have 2 characters, or say when you have a very pivotal moment, right, in a story, you usually
Keep talking.
when you have a pivotal moment in a story, sometimes you'll just make 2 save states. So then you can even pick up the story from that and maybe take a different route. So you want to experience instead of beating the whole thing over again. You can't do that in Dragon's Dogma. And I was like, I hate that. Oh, so I'm thinking on the PC version when they released it, I'm like, oh, surely they're gonna. It's on the PC. No,
That's the wrong answer.
Nope. And then so now and I'm like,
wrong answer.
surely in Dragon's Dogma 2 they're gonna fix that completely stupid thing. No, you still no. And I'm like,
Only
why?
one
What is the
time.
creative decision behind this? Why the fuck would you do this? No RPG does this. I don't even understand it. Whatever. They didn't fix that. I imagine I haven't looked in because I wanted to go into this game. I wanted to go into this extremely vanilla. I did not want to. I wanted to be to just absorb it blind, I guess. And I'm assuming they didn't also fix the lack of targeting. I don't know if they did
you
that.
Can target now.
So you can target.
now.
Oh, okay. Well,
You can target now,
that's
yes.
great because that's another incredibly. I'm like, how can I not cycle through targeting? There's just things in the game that were so. I'm like, what are they doing? What is Capcom doing with this RPG? It's not like they don't do that in their other games. Like you play Devil May Cry and target no problem.
Like that though, granted, that's the first game like that Capcom I think ever made.
Well, yeah,
genuinely.
but like say easy things that have existed in other games for so long, I didn't understand why they just didn't put it in there. But like besides that though, the game was fun as fuck. I absolutely love climbing on beasts and monsters and just whacking the shit out of them. That is such a fun fucking mechanic, and talking about it is making me want to play it, but I'm just gonna wait. I reinstalled some other games. I think what I'm gonna do for my Steam library is beat everything in order. Like something that I've never. I'm like, you know what? I'm alphabetical. Sorry. I'm just gonna go down my list.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I have to. So the first thing, and maybe a lot of people would be like shocked, but I never. The only experience I've had with Alan Wake was being at my friend's house and watching him play it, like a lot. But I've never actually put my hands on. I think maybe I controlled him a little bit or something, but I never really played Alan Wake. So that's top of my list. That is the first
Good
one.
game.
This is. So I'm like, I should just finally beat it. I should just finally.
Yeah, I like the first one a lot, actually.
I mean, I heard it's a great game. I just never got around because I'm just like, I'll play it eventually. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna
2011, 2010.
something like that. Maybe even 2013. I don't fucking remember, dude.
All I gotta say is that if you like just bonking people, play the Barbarian in Dragon's Dogma. I love the female barbarians in that game. Yeah. Is this some big chick with a big sword? Someone runs at me, the battle cries you do too. She runs at me, I just uppercut someone with a sword, and the Minotaur takes a moment and it's like, yo, maybe I should run.
Yeah. Yeah,
I wish enemies could run away in the game. That's something I wish happened. I wish enemies would get hurt bad enough and they would run off.
Well, some of them they usually they would the first one. Like you'd fuck up some bandits
stuff.
or
only the flying stuff would run away.
Bandits and fucking goblins. I would whoop them, and then after a while they'd be like, this is too much, and they would fuck off.
Yeah, but I'm talking monsters.
Maybe it's not the same in this game. No, but the big monsters, no, they never.
I want to hit like a giant. It understand how hard I hit it, and it gets up, turns around, and starts running away from me. I want to do that. So the giant's damn, I shouldn't be here. I'm in danger.
All right, let's run through some of these real quick. These are some of these are easy, and then we'll head on out of here.
Gotcha.
Questionable wrote in. He says, "How would you feel if you suddenly found out your partner was an avid quartering fan? This would cause problems."
Man,
this would really send me spiraling. I think. I would have to really love them to be okay. I would still look. I'd be like, listen, I love you. This is a problem. I love you a little less as a result of this. I'm not gonna lie. So you got to make a choice.
I wonder if that's
either continue to build this life and this future with me, or continue watching really low effort daily, lazy uploads from a man who pisses in his basement floor. I know this is probably a really tough call. It's going to really hurt me if you pick the other thing. And I will probably go to therapy for years as a result of it. But this is the choice.
I would be particularly upset because JoJo and I have shat on him multiple times together about just, stuff.
Oh, so it would be like a dishonest
It would be a complete betray. Because I remember this was probably like a month or so ago.
Betrayal.
I was so mad, like just not that long ago about like he made a video about that woman that shot up the Joel Osteen's church, and then all of the I
didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, there was this chick that was crazy, and she just shot up the church, and luckily I think nobody was killed. And some security took her out pretty quickly. I think off-duty, like cop people that were security.
All right. Look, is there? It's probably look. I didn't hear about this. I didn't know about this. There's an obvious point of humor there, which is like, it is unfortunate that look. It's not. I shouldn't say it's unfortunate. It is very fortunate that nobody got hurt. However.
God,
it is funny that when a woman's going to do a mass shooting, she just can't do it.
Oh, that's
like it's just like she just can't figure. She can't fucking figure the gun out.
But no one died.
Where do I point it? I don't.
Can you imagine? But here's the thing: that it's funny that you're saying woman. So here's the thing that they made all of these conservative pieces of shit we're making a video about.
No.
So she's a criminal. She's crazy, but she's a criminal. What is one common thing that a lot of criminals have are aliases, because they're for obvious reasons. Some of her aliases, or one of them, whatever, or male. So because of that, these fucking assholes put two and two together. Must be trans. Must be a trans shooter. So this man shot up this thing. See, it's the crazy trans people that are doing all these mass shootings. Blah, 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 blah. And then so obviously that's not the case. Even the fucking police came out in the press conference and say she is a woman. She is always identified as a woman. She's a blah blah blah.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't even need information about that to figure that
obviously.
out, because the information is just in the damage done.
Yeah, and then so
she's a woman. There was no damage done. So obviously,
they probably would have made jokes about that, but it was easier to shit on the trans community, right? So with that information coming out, did any of those pieces of human filth retract the statements or even delete their videos that had hundreds of thousands of views? Of fucking course not. So I was talking about that recently, and then if it turned out that JoJo was like, nah, high five quartering, I'd be like, yeah, man. Like, I would actually be really fucking upset. Like, wow.
That's mega
I
betrayal.
don't know, man. Lily, imagine Lily sitting down watching that shit just makes me really upset. Like, I don't want to hug her. Like, I don't want to go out there and hug her right now. Like, I don't want to sit beside her and eat dinner.
So we got our answers.
Yeah.
We got our answers for this.
You like the quartering?
It would hurt all of us greatly.
You're just stupid.
A huge cataclysm wrote in. He says, "Hello, Chris, Derek, and Kingston. Has it ever taken you a long time to learn that you were talking to someone important? My best friend's uncle is Billy Joe Armstrong, and despite meeting him multiple times beforehand, I didn't realize who he was until I was 15. Well, 15's a reasonable age to become cognizant of that. I don't think I was really cognizant of celebrities until I was like probably around like 13, 14. So I'll say this. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before because it's kind of embarrassing. I think you know this, Sweeney. I think Derek might know this too. I don't know. Maybe I've told this before. I don't know. But I was at a party once, and I don't remember exactly where I was. I think it was just at a bar. And I was talking with a bunch of animators. And we were talking just in general, and then the topic inevitably came up about The Simpsons. And how The Simpsons had really gone downhill. And I remember just being like, yeah, I don't even know why they have that fucking show on anymore. Like, what's even the fucking point of this? And, like, I just don't get, like, they should just kill this thing. And I didn't realize that I was talking to Matt Groening's son.
That's awesome.
And I think it was, like, his birthday, too. So I was just like,
happy birthday, bozo.
Happy birthday, your dad's show is terrible.
Yeah,
but that was like, I was laughing so hard when I found that out because I was like, oh my, because I don't care enough about like, I really don't give a shit. It's just like, wow, what are the odds of that? Because I never, Kingston, you know me. How often am I talking about The Simpsons? Fucking barely, if ever.
I have one like that.
So like the idea that I would bring it up in this scenario to just so happens to the guy's son is fucking wild. But that's the only thing that I can think of that.
So you guys might not know. You might know. So you know the Cosby Show, right?
Yeah,
I don't know that. What's that?
The Cosby Show, obviously. Although seriously, the Cosby Show. The mother on the Cosby Show is named Felicia Rashad. She is my grandma's cousin. Actually, oh really? Not kidding. She's my grandma's cousin. So there was one day that like maybe 2006, 7, right before we moved away from the Bronx. She came to visit my grandma because she knew we were moving upstate. She was like, I'm going to come visit Marion, see her off up to her new home over upstate. She's finally buying a home for herself, a big home for herself. Good for her. She came into my apartment. I was just coming back from school like that. And I was looking at that. I was staring at this lady. And I was like, you look just like the mother Huxtable. And she was like, sweetheart, I am. And I was like, huh? You're related to my grandma? She was like, yeah, she's my cousin. I was like, something's wrong here. What are you doing in my house?
That's a jarring experience for a kid because you're still kind of like feeling that out. Like what that even means. It's
so because my grandmother
that's kind of crazy.
She has two cousins that were in talk show. And Welcome Back, Mr. Carter, the show with John Travolta with Fonzie. The black guy from that show was my grandma's first cousin, and then Felicia's her second cousin.
Mm. I remember you mentioning the first
meeting
one, yeah.
both of them and being like, Grandma, why do you have famous cousins? She was like, I don't know, St. Tomians act. Like all of them go into acting eventually.
Apparently.
Like, why is she? It makes me feel weird. It's such a weird thing having like one of the most famous black moms probably on television sitting down in your house eating like fucking curry chicken and stew peas and shit like that, empanadas, and it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, that's cool. I don't think I have anything like that. I can't. Nothing come to mind of like famous. And I didn't know. I'm sure there are probably plenty of times you just run into, people who have large amounts of notoriety or just fame, and then
you're standing behind. You're like at like Taco Bell, and you're standing behind the guy who wrote the Bible or something.
I guess Creator Clash one of those moments too. Creator Clash one of those moments too, because during Creator Clash, me and Jay were just hanging out the Critical Role cast the whole day.
Yeah, but you knew that.
I knew that, but it was weird. It was just still weird, like just Like
mean, yeah,
having a drink with like Travis Willingham and like Matt, like drinking alcohol with them and making jokes with them, is still a strange ass fucking thing.
That is true.
You know,
They're really cool
VidCon
group of
was
people. I
like
like them a
that
lot.
about like the amount of people that were there that I was unaware of that had massive amounts of audiences that you just wouldn't. Like, how could you know if you either know or you don't?
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, and so
yeah, it's weird. That's
crazy.
also like no, there's a lot actually because I remember like being friends with Mick and Mick being on shows I remember watching. You know,
Oh, before you understood
or
that,
like
like that's
or
what
like
he
hanging
did.
out with Jack. You know, or like knowing Viv.
Yeah.
like it's shit like that. It's a lot of shit like that where it's like it's just a little strange. You know, like
Yeah, things. It's a small world out there, man.
That's true.
Like, even just like I remember Gabby told this story to me before, but it's like apparently James Gandolfini had like dinner at her house for some fucking reason, for no reason other than I think like they just know her family somehow. It's just like, all right, I guess it's very strange.
Yeah.
And that's in New York, by the way, so it's not even like upstate New York, so it's not even like oh, you're in the city, you're just running into Conan O'Brien everywhere. It's just like, just really, the world is not really.
imagine
as big as
running
we
to
think it is.
Conan O'Brien over and
But-
over again, and then you have to convince him you're not following him.
I ran into Conan O'Brien twice.
And you're
Nice.
like, no, but it happens the other day.
my
Like,
life.
he's like 4 times the other day you run into him. And you're like,
fuck
I'm
his
not
ass?
following
He's
you, I
impossible not to
swear.
miss though, because he's so freakishly tall. It's
Right.
He
disgusting.
is really tall.
Yeah, he's like 6'4".
Really, really tall, dude.
He's a fucking siren head.
dude,
But-
and his hair makes him look even taller. Yeah,
Yeah, he's got the Jimmy Neutron height boost on top of that.
yeah.
But
Is he
yeah, we
old
got
yet?
some more questions, but we're gonna dedicate the next episode to kind of clearing out all of March's. It's reasonable. It's not really that many. So next episode will be a question led thing. Provided nothing crazy happens, but I think we covered pretty much everything that we. Most of the big stuff that we wanted to cover today.
Yeah.
So thank you all for supporting, for watching. Remember, you can support us over at patreon.com/snarktank. There will be, at some point in April, probably later, but definitely before May, there will be a merch drop that will be initially exclusive to patrons. Patrons will have the link because we really want to test it out, make sure we want to see like what the audience wants and like what shirts they're going for and what like pieces of merch they're primarily excited about. So we can maybe narrow it down and make it maybe make it a little bit more focused for when we bring it out for everybody. So if you want to get in on the ground floor of that, there's also early ad-free access, all that stuff, extra shows, all that jazz. So much appreciated. If you went on over there, leave us a like, leave us a comment, all that jazz.
Yeah.
Leave us a nice review, or we'll kill you.
Yeah, seriously.
Facts. Facts.
Now we're gonna read the $25 and up patrons now.
3, 2, 1.
The Puerto Rican genius, parentheses, the Puerto Rican genius. He says it twice. That's confusing. I feel like I'm not understanding.
Very
cool. Begging my favorite gaggle of boys to do a gay parody of Eve and Flo.
Oh yeah, that can work.
by
Oh, I
Pearl
wait.
Jam.
I've already,
Seaman
no,
Flo.
I do that all the time in the car when I'm driving her to work because it comes on all the time. Yeah, semen
Yeah.
flow, having sex with several guys. Oh fuck my hole, cause I'm very very gay. Like yeah, it's dude, it comes on all the time.
That's such a fun. He's a fun vocalist to impersonate.
100%.
Like he's one of those where it's just like it's so.
Sucking lots of
I love the way he
fucking
sounds, dude.
men in
I
the
like Pearl Jam,
asses.
dude.
All
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I like Even Flow. I can't pretend like I've heard much Pearl Jam, honestly, outside of
I've
Even
heard
Flow,
so much, and just by passing. Being
I-
alive, I feel like I've just heard a bunch of Pearl Jam that's in the radio.
but sex-
I feel like there's a lot of hard rock that I just kind of.
Is that hard rock?
It's grunge.
Yeah, a lot of it I was introduced to like through Guitar Hero and stuff.
Fuck me in my
I feel
hair.
Riff too, if I'm remembering correctly. Like I'm sure the audience will remember it, but yeah, where is it? Yeah. It's a guitar. I hear this as a Guitar Hero level though.
This sounds like Wolf Mother
Like,
to
this
me.
just sounds
the,
like
the
Guitar Hero.
riff.
Anyway, move on.
Okay. Yeah. This.
Asian
Go ahead.
wizard. What were you gonna say?
Oh, nothing. Just I'm gay.
Okay, Asian wizard. She sween on my black eye till I ray gun. Miguel O'Hara's trans mask pussy. I'm sucking you. One dick. I'm fucking guys. I got so hard. I came so far. Come in my end. Linkin Park.
Come in my end. Stupid.
That's so stupid. The Gladiator. And I will be. 28 U.S. Marines. In black 100 squirt sword. Neon wants to fuck a kid's butthole wholesome.
What?
I don't know who Neon is. Wipe me down.
Sucks, man.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that because I know that that's probably not dental work again.
I don't think that's true.
That's kind of crazy.
I think of who you are slipping away because you're not really
big of a problem with the dentist. When I got one wisdom teeth pulled 2 years ago. I wasn't knocked out. Experience it, but you get to sue. So now you don't have the trauma of remembering it, but you get all the reward.
That's such a fucking villainous way to look at it, but I understand what you're saying. Like you get violated, but
unbelievable conversation.
We're joking around. Nobody wants to get
you. Wake up at the dentist's office. And there is one really sore.
I would have questions.
An idea is that he came on you so hard, so many times that it bruised the top. It bruised where your third eye should be.
I like how all of your cum shot scenarios are always there's so much fucking pressure. And they're always.
You guys don't have pressurized cum?
That to that level. That's pretty impressive.
By
sir.
default, you have to do that.
Every time I jack
choice.
off, when I come into whatever I'm coming into is.
Whatever you're coming.
No, it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice to do that.
Oh,
it's like a super soaker where you're like you pump a bunch and then you hold it and then.
No, dude. If I hold it, my penis will blow up.
All right,
you should try.
You should try. It blows backwards.
Big Meaty Stinks. Andy, the man whose handies are S tier and dandy. Michael B. Jordan in his new movie Peed. The ending of Fight Club, except Sweeney is at the top of a skyscraper drinking piss.
Nice.
Heath paying hundreds on Patreon not to use the benefit. There ain't no rest for the end.
Oh no,
that's a classic. It's a classic.
Fucking goddamn it!
There ain't no rest for the N-word.
Huacock phalanxes. No, Huacock phallus is the jizzler. Cringe gay cum. Digi-gay. Homeless trans femme who comes sucking on my testicles, gargle on them even. Suckle on my testicles, gargle on them even. Jordan Penison.
Jordan Penison, of course.
That's so stupid. I can't believe I never thought of something that simple and dumb.
Hi, I'm Jordan Penison.
Little B, the bass god, asking Selma Cash Money for Feed Pics on Twitter. Dead serious. One of my lecturers got cucked by the lead singer of the Pixies. SpongeBob Piss Pants, Mr. Pants. Jesse, we need to make more pills, Jesse. I can't, Mr. White. Baller of the First Sin, Spum Befudders. This is literally just a period. Just a dot.
Very cool.
So, thank you, period, person. Naked Billie Eilish presents at the Oscars. Jolly old dipshit. Somebody told me by the Killers. Breaking my back just to break it. Oh fuck. Okay, so breaking my back just to suck my dick. Cause women ain't close in a place like this.
He broke his back just so
breaking
he
my back
suck
just to suck
dick.
my dick is good. I don't know about the second. I don't know about the second line.
You've been backwards instead of trying to go forward.
He's challenging himself.
He doesn't try the forward. He's like, this is the easier way. I don't want that. I want to go backwards. And he breathes in deep, expands a little bit.
That's fucking crazy. That's like driving to London
on purpose.
Patrick hit him. Patrick hit him with that autistic flow. Topher laser pistol, ciphergraph, medium penis haver. Palestinians be like, here they come. It's lots and lots of. Oh fuck me! That's pretty. Yeah, you know what? I can't even front. That's good. Time by Pink Floyd. Dicking a gay. The homos are caked up all the way. Finger and gay. Bowels in and out. That's gay. Gay that's Ronnie gay. Radke be like good dicks, bad thighs. I don't know, just something to piss him off.
Oh yeah.
Can I say something? Yeah. I had no idea that video. My life is like a video game song was a genuine Falling in Reverse song. I had no fucking clue that was real. I thought that was a joke.
Dude, that Ronnie Radke's fucking, that guy sucks, man. Fucking sucks.
I was expecting like a really thorough. It's just like that guy.
There's too much. That's why it just defaults to like, dude, he just sucks, dude. There is too much shit that he's been involved where it's like this guy.
You said it so respectfully. That guy's just.
I feel like I would feel so honored if somebody cut it off at that point. You know, it's like if somebody was like, "Man, that Chris Ray Gun guy," it's like, he sucks. Like I feel like, oh, thank God. Thank God that's all
they
there
have
was.
Ammunition. They could go after me, but they're just not choosing not to.
Yeah, just like
Hunter Dubois, back with Revengeance. Cosmo, Wanda, I wish for a glass of cummies. Fuck jizzin', I'm pissin'. Never in a urinal, only in women. Fuck women, I'm different. Stick it in a dude's hole. Now I'm winning.
damn.
It's good. Some bars, as the kids would say.
Oh.
Running Rab, Lily's piss dealer.
Nice.
The idea that you would deal piss is wild. Back to Tank of Cum. Caucasian container to Cracker Barrel for gays. Donald Trump burping on Dom's Clint. Super Earth is just regular Earth without Israel. Ass strong to take any dong. It's me where all dick belongs. She pipkin on my pippa. I live in Orange County, New York now. Fuck you, Long Island. Sweeney. Showers in sneakers. Yo, if I saw somebody, that would change my perception of a person. I think entirely.
You're off. You're off it.
That's like if you that's like if you could only shit if you're wearing a tie. Like I don't know what to make of that psychologically speaking. I don't know if it necessarily makes you a threat or like a bad person, but like it makes me concerned because it's something that I can't understand.
There's something so good about you ever see black dudes in porn? How they usually have their socks and sneakers on. Like I imagine that. Like you're butt ass naked.
They gotta go.
I've definitely had sex and like realized that I was in a state like that.
You had sex with shoes on?
And I was just like, what am I doing? No, I
like
just
in
like
the house.
You know what it was? I was taking we had just gone in. This is years ago.
Okay.
But like I just got in and like I was wearing sweatpants and I just wanted to get them the fuck off. And like my shoes were really like tedious. Like they were really fucking tight and I couldn't just like kick them off. So I was like, oh fuck, I don't know. Like I'm already going. Like I don't want to stop because it's like I'm already in this zone.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a distraction. And then like, but it hit me like at some like not long afterwards where it's like I feel fucking ridiculous.
You should.
I feel like reverse Squidward almost.
Reverse Squidward.
Like where like I really should take these off. But
you know what's a really
that's
bad
a
habit
gross feeling.
I developed this really terrible habit
because you feel cold and ready to run, and it's a jarring combination of feelings.
That is weird.
I really recommend everybody in the audience get naked and put your shoes on. It is a fucking bizarre feeling.
Like you're able to go.
Like,
you feel like you want to go, but you can't because you have no pants.
Yeah, like it's like you have all the freedom necessary to go wherever you need, but none of the ability.
Yeah, and to prove that you did,
it's such a weird. It does something to the brain.
Post it on Twitter. Do it. Post
on my OnlyFans.
Yeah. That's good. That's good content, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just only having shoes on, I love it. You got to have medium socks though. There's something about like there's got to be more socks there.
The socks are always too big. The gray part of the heel is always sticking out of the top of my shoe.
What size shoe do you wear? Jesus Christ!
This is. I don't think I've ever had a pair of white socks that have fit me authentically. Actually,
they're always too big.
I always just because I just always buy socks, and they're socks. So I'm just like, who? I wear ankle socks. I don't like my socks being exposed. I just wear them because they're necessary.
I just wear socks.
Oh, see, I like my socks being exposed because I don't like my shoes touching my skin.
Okay.
Drama.
Anyway. Yeah, I was molested by a shoe when I was young. We are rebranding the Snark Tank as the Spank Tank.
Nice.
Maybe slightly above average clit energy. Just the hard R, Star Coffee. Never made it as a straight man, only made it as a gay man squealing. Gay Blade, I like dick. If you can read one page of Harry Potter book, N-word. My son froze to death in the wastes of Ohio by going homeless to pay you fucks.
Damn.
Now this is a memorial. R.I.P. John. Trans femme gremlin. Exposing people with lactose intolerance to 90 million radians of ionizing radiation. Yush Wormst. Craig the Canadian. Matt Walsh is my least favorite racist. He's not even very funny.
Least favorite
it's your boy Shawnee D. I want a cock. I want two cocks by Twisted Sister. I live in Philly, and everything you guys said is true. Also, I once saw two homeless guys fucking near my high school. If I, Chris Reagan, had one wish, it would be that women could only speak by shouting their names like fucking like stupid fucking Pokemon. 3XO imploring people to look up bipolar Betty on TikTok. She has no nose, just a hole.
Oh,
so
I'm not
sad.
seeing that. I don't like that.
Slurping, stroking, smoking, joking, emoticons going like this. Drip MH, Lord of Drip. I got my mind set on you by George Harrison. I got my ball sweat on you. Obi, won't you blow me? Jackson Vernon, Norwegian game dev, fucking the homeless to sleep. Kremlin to Gremlin, Hearse song, and the dick goes in and the dick goes out. I'm gonna steal your bones. One more spoon of cum syrup now. Oh whoa. Zoo by Denzel Fury. Avi. Another period. Another dot.
Oh wow.
The fuck is this? It's weird that
Gotta be the new Keith
it's weird
David.
that it happened twice in the same episode.
Dot.
After having never happened before. Derek, give us an update on Ethan Ralph now. It's been a while. Is there anything?
Ah man, the people that follow him that there's one guy that he's so boring that I can't watch his streams that always looks after Ethan Ralph. There's these other guys that do. He hasn't done anything of prominence. The last prominent thing he did is he had on some insane guy on his stream that he thought was going to be like game changing. Like, oh, this is going to get a lot of views. There was some old guy that like was talking about stories about alien shit. And it was the funniest fucking thing I've seen in a while because Ethan Ralph was visibly upset at this guy. He's so angry that this guy, he thought he hit like a home run. And then when the guy was on, it was the biggest flop, and him being so angry, just trying to patiently let this guy talk. And it was just insane rants of nothing. It was actually great. So that was the last thing that he's done. But as far as having like major L's in his life, it's a constant thing, you know, still lives in Mexico. He lost his wife and his second kid. And yeah, it's all, yeah, dude, it's amazing. It's amazing. He's lost, oh, sorry, his second wife. Excuse me. That's his second wife, too. And his second kid. He's lost.
I love the idea of laughing maniacally after someone says he just lost his wife and his kid.
This guy is taking.
Someone should clip that with no context. No context as to who I'm talking. Someone should clip that with no context as to who I'm talking about. Just like, yeah, he lost his wife and kid, and it just cuts.
Yeah,
to me laughing.
That's a good. I like that. Yeah, that has to happen. Dude, it's crazy. I can't wait.
Oh, they got him.
I can't wait till the Jay Aubreys, the people like that, like get a hold of him.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait. The fact that they're, I just don't like. They don't. I feel like they're just not aware.
I think they're just waiting for him to die, so it's safe.
Yeah, so because it is ongoing.
Anyway,
it is ongoing. It's true.
Yeah. So anyway, Wage Slave 583, a sad guy from Michigan. Finally, I'd like some cum shots. Maybe one with the camera looking up at you from the ground, where you come on your belly. The Papini Bros hold Derek's engraved glasses, Chris's audio remote, and Sween's foreskin for ransom. I had a nightmare, and it's wild because that this is a nightmare at all because it sounds like just a dream, but it's unequivocally a nightmare. I had a dream that I was sitting here in this office in New York, and I opened a drawer, and my remote was there.
That would have been amazing.
And it was a nightmare, because I was just like, there's no fucking way
You were a
this is
damaged
possible.
boy, bud.
I'm really fucking annoyed at it. And I don't know where to go to fix this.
It's gone forever.
I don't know. I can't even buy another one, because the model of the remote isn't available to buy separately. So like I'm reeling. Donkerson, and like my dad used to say, dig it while you can, bitch, because the light just turned motherfucking green. Bye, bitch. That's a wild thing for your dad to say.
Dig it while you can, bitch.
Installing a faulty Neuralink in Chris's head that plays Thunder on repeat.
Thunder.
By the way, the Sacred Live show, everybody, like, I was put on trial for my hatred of Imagine Dragons, and nobody made a good case. I won.
That's funny.
You got to pay the troll soul to get in the boy's hole. Gate 6. Do you think people on the 93rd floor were turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
Stop.
That is so specific. That is crazy that you said that. People on the registry be like, my horny ass could not be within 1,000 feet of a school. Fuck Patreon for removing the search by month option. These cunts will do whatever it takes to make the site unusable. There's a lot of dumb... I don't know. It's concerning, but whatever. Every guy is just Schrodinger's foreskin. Help me. Fuck. An evil lesbian. They're coming. Lots and lots of dick and balls. I love that there's lots and lots of jets and planes thing is
lots of
is so pervasive. I went homeless paying Ian Miles Chung to swat the Chumba Casino guy. John Strickland, I miss the old Kanye. Goat of the throat Kanye. Pulls in the hole Kanye. Drag on dance floor Kanye. Mercs 1889, call my nuts non-binary the way they're always itch. That's so dumb.
Bitching,
the way they're always she.
Keep going.
The first Church of Keith David featuring a crowd of people gang writing on Chris's little slutty notebook. Oh yeah, that's right. Look, man, I don't know. The first Church of Keith David featuring being better than the first Church of Keith David. Pre-Roz Blake 896, a half black, half Vietnamese person named bitch N-word. Little Dick Rag. Lost my job at Kohl's because they caught me playing with the mannequin's boobs. It's not like you to say I'm gay. I was waiting on a different homie. This time I'm mistaken for handing you a cock worth breaking. Accurate. Sue Hulk. Tickle my ass hairs. Nikki Ziggy. I want to test Chris's dyslexia. Gonna be back on schedule very, very soon. Apologies for the delays, all that stuff. There will be a write-up on the Patreon. We'll see you on the next episode, and we'll see you in April.
Don't die.